Cinema forecast has the temperature up all over the internet. Won't last long, though.
Neither will we.
How will we make it?
Maybe we shouldn't.
If you're worried about the other podcasts,
If we've got any side projects we're keeping from each other, I don't think we're in much shape to do anything about it.
well, what do we do?
Why don't we just talk movies here for a little while? See what happens. Welcome, everyone, once again to another episode of Cinema Forecast. It is me, Alfredo, with, as always,
It's Connor.
and we are here at Cinema Forecast, the movie podcast where every month we will randomly assign a category by the legally distinct movie roulette. This month's category was, Connor,
It could be anyone.
and every week we go in depth into one of these movies and talk about them in the context of the category, one of the four movies that
Yep.
are attached to the category.
That's right.
As I've said several times in the past, and I will again. And what movie is it today?
We're watching The Thing.
We're talking Thing.
I freaking love this movie, Alfredo. I'll say right off the jump. This movie rocks. This movie's horrifying. It's effective. It's awesome. It's a great It Could Be Anyone.
It is. It really is. And I am so excited to talk about how, in so many different ways, it really kind of puts together a lot of things that were maybe even like doubts about the category. There's something. I mean, I'll just say right off the jump, this is a whodunit and a fucking a fucking shapeshifter movie. Like,
Yeah.
that's what's so
That's
awesome
a good
about
point.
it.
That's a good point. Yeah, Body Snatchers is almost the odd man out of the mystery of who like did a murder and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And here it's not like the actual person did the murder, but it is a question of like who has been turned, which is not as important in like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, even though it
Well,
could.
it is.
It is. I said it's not as important.
Yeah.
It's not. It is an important aspect, but not as important.
Yeah, it's not the same kind of focused intrigue. It's more like every stranger around you could be one, unless is someone in this room right now, right? And that's the whodunit vibe, I think, is the killer in the room with us right now, and who is the killer?
Yeah, which I think is really well executed in this film. Let's talk fucking first time watches of this movie.
Yeah, I don't remember now that you ask me. I'm trying to think back. I think a friend showed it to me, maybe, or maybe it was just I don't know. I can't recall.
I'm gonna call this my first ever time actually seeing this movie.
Love it.
I don't think the past times that I've been exposed to it, I really engaged with it in what could be called a watch.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring that. I'm gonna bring that energy from now on. It's just like no more about this like lollygagging, this flip flopping about have I seen it, have I not? Like have you felt it?
yeah.
Have you like consumed this art in a meaningful way? It's
Totally.
like going to a fucking museum and just like, you know,
Yeah.
I walked around, but did you take in the art?
Yeah.
And this time I fucking did. It's awesome. I love this movie.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, you were saying how you're like, oh yeah, at the ending they're like chasing after the dog, and I was like, no, that's the prequel. And you're like, oh, well, what's the ending?
I remember the first part with the dog and the helicopter, and I do remember Keith David and Kurt Russell. Like, so what do we do now? We're
at
just gonna sit here.
the
Yeah,
final scene. Yeah,
I
it-
do remember that.
cool. Yeah,
But like 90, no, 80-ish% of the images on the screen, I was like, nope, don't remember this.
That's awesome. That's fun. I feel like the thing with this movie on this viewing is that there was a lot more I put together this time. There's a lot more pieces and foreshadowing that I just like. I think the other times I was watching just more along for the ride, and this time I was trying to kind of like see how everything slotted into everything else, and I got it more. But yeah, I've seen this movie a ton of times just over the years, and like I totally understand just seeing bits and pieces of it because I know our good friend Juan, it's one of his favorite movies, so he would just like throw it on sometimes while we're doing other stuff. And if you're just hanging out with friends with a movie on the background, then it's like you're just gonna catch bits and pieces.
Back then, I was also like a very much like I'm not gonna like just engage with like I mean the other day, like a couple months ago, I was at a friend's party and they had Dreams, by like the Akira Kurosawa film, on in the kitchen with no sound,
Nice.
and I did. Now that I am more of a film guy, I did like sit there and like watch it. So like now I would maybe be more like likely to sit at a party and like sit down and actually like consume and engage with it. But back then I was definitely like, dude, you're putting on a movie and we're like all hanging out like
Mm-hmm.
come on, man. Like, let's, I don't know, let's play cards. Let's do guy stuff.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
But yeah, it was super fun. Also, so much like says so much without saying so much. It's very much a like show feel
Yeah.
vibes type movie, and directed by John Carpenter, of
Nails
course.
it. Nails
Yeah,
it.
very, very, very good. I mean, he's the master of like body horror. And then I think the script is done by Bill Lancaster, adapted from John W. Campbell Jr.'s story. Um, yeah, good shit.
Yeah, I gotta check out that story.
Yeah, no, I want to read it as well.
I want to see how similar it is because I mean it's just
Yeah,
so creative and weird, and I want to know how close it is. Um, oh yeah, should we the themes? I think all five of
yeah,
our themes for this could be anyone or yeah, paranoia, isolation, trust, the anomaly that is man, mental chess match. I think all five of those are very much in this movie. Right from the start, the shots of the mountains, the emptiness. Well, I guess the first shot is space, which is isolation in its own way.
yeah, for sure.
Well, and you also got the kind of like slow creeping in of the credits, and like this ominous music. Yeah, Ennio Morricone,
Yeah, that's wild, dude.
so good. I love
I
him
was
in
like
this.
jaw dropped. Like I was like, how did I not know that? That's so wild.
Yeah, what a pairing because John Carpenter is known to do his own music in his movies as well.
Yeah,
So
this is one of the first ones where he hasn't. I think like where I had said something about that when I was reading about it, and also like it's Ennio Morricone doing John
yeah,
Carpenter.
that's the thing.
That's fun.
And what I really love about his composition in this is that I'm so used to him being the big, exciting, or dramatic, like,
Very epic.
and like orchestral. And here it's just so sparse, but like the tone is so good in the way it's utilized in the movie and throughout the movie. Just that reoccurring bum, 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 bum.
Would you like to have your heart broken?
Yeah.
He got a Razzie for for this one.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I thought it was so effective. I mean, it's very sparse, but a Razzie? Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, man.
That's some bullshit. Um, yeah. So ominous music over the credits, so great.
Yeah, no, I love the very start of it is so cool. And then apparently the way that the title sort of like morphs is meant to echo the way it happens in The Thing That Came From Hell, the like 50s movie that's also based
love
on
that.
this story.
Okay.
The DP on this one is a gentleman by the name of Dean Cundy. I'm not super familiar with his work at all, but some really awesome, super effective like shots all over the place. I will say that seeing the spaceship crash onto Earth, I like maybe I'm just not like a fan of this thing. Like I was like I was like, oh wow, it starts like that. This is supposed to be like a good movie, and I had that thought.
It also stood out to me. I didn't have that negative of a thought of it, but I was like, I don't think it needs this. And it's funny because the Predator has the exact same open where you see it drop from the sky. And I'm like, I don't think you need that, right? Like the mystery, like it already starts up with a helicopter chasing a dog, shooting a rifle and throwing grenades. Like, do you need a better hook? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think you need the drop in from space. I'm with you there.
I don't think you need it. I'm like, okay, and you're calling it mean, but like, but it was just a very like earnest like sort of response. Like,
Oh no, I said I didn't have as negative of a reaction to it. Not mean. I don't think it's mean.
oh, okay, yeah. I mean, it's just the way it's.
You said I thought this was a good movie. I mean, that's
No,
a
I said
little
this
different
is
than me. Like,
this is supposed to be a good movie.
Yeah.
But also, you know me, and why, like, you should factor that in. You know,
Oh,
I'm a very,
I'm
I'm a
with
very
it.
extreme person. So, like, I feel like it's pretty par for the course. For
No,
me,
I mean,
you know?
there's nothing wrong with that reaction to that because I was also like loving this movie. Like, huh?
But yeah, like you said, the opening shot. I mean, I still like it's still like cool looking. Like
Yeah. Well, I like the fade out into the stars. It's specifically
that's cool.
the 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 ship coming onto the planet, and then it kind of like freezes there, and then it just disappears. Like it doesn't look great.
Yeah, and it's also like the crash being they say later on like 100,000 years ago. I'm
Yeah.
also like makes me think you need it less. So yeah,
Mm.
this movie sucks. I hate it.
Let's turn it off.
There's a tier called Z, and it belongs there.
Antarctica Winter 1982 is the first title card we get before the helicopter
Yeah, have I
rolls through.
mentioned the thing about my grandpa yet on the podcast?
I don't think you have. Yeah.
So my grandfather, who's the person I'm named after, he has the same name as me. Um, he led the first Peruvian expedition to Antarctica in
So cool.
1988, and I still have a hat from that expedition. Yeah. Don't Google too much because he maybe did some other stuff too. But we don't have to talk about that. Anyway, Antarctica's sick as fuck, dude. Like such a specific place, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, if we're talking about isolation as a theme, can you get much more isolated than out in the middle of just the most inhospitable land? Like perhaps more inhospitable than the desert, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's arguments to be made, both ways for sure. Um, Also, like, I love the contrast of like the vastness and emptiness of space in the like, and how space is like black will lacks any sort of like light, and then snow is this like blinding white color,
Yeah.
and the way that it kind of like does that transition, I kind of like got this sort of like ooh from the vastness and expanse of space to the
Mm.
lonely expanse that is like Antarctica.
That's a good call there. Yeah, and I noticed a lot of great kind of palette cleansers with just the shot of the research facility throughout the movie, where it would just kind of like very tense thing happened, and then it would just kind of show like time has passed. It just kind of reframes the whole situation, like, and you get a nice big shot of it, like beautiful shot, and it's like okay, here we are on to the next part, and they do that a couple times throughout it.
Yeah,
Very
it's good
effective.
stuff. The shots too from the very beginning, very lonely shots.
Yeah, yeah,
There
no,
a lot of like isolation is like immediately being pushed in these like visual themes.
yeah, there was so much good camera work in this. I definitely found myself in one of the situations we find ourselves in occasionally, or me especially, just where there's almost too much to write down. Where I'm like I was looking through my notes again, and some notes I just like was half written because I started writing something and then I like backed way off it, um, or just like yeah, got pulled into the next scene.
Yeah, and like right off the friggin' rip, like like I'm saying these shots, these lonely shots, the vast frozen landscape. Immediately the score is so fucking good.
Yeah,
There's so much. It's this like foreboding that is like not overly done. Like it's like really like well
Yeah,
measured. Like
very
it's like
reserved.
rationed out in this
Yeah.
really cool like well done way. And yeah, immediately you're like, there's something fucking wrong, and we see this helicopter chasing this seems to be a dog, and I was like, man, Connor's gonna hate this because this guy's trying to shoot a dog.
Dude, the dog stuff is rough for me in this. I mean, how could it not be? It's pretty horrifying.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, all of the stuff, all of the shit that
All of
happens
the
to
stuff, yeah,
all the
that's
stuff
fair.
that happens to bodies in this is like so fucking disturbing. But also, like I'm not always in a body horror, but this one makes me go, fuck yeah, head spider.
Oh my god, no,
That's sick. Like
I think it's some of the best practical effects I've ever seen.
it's also like tasteful, like there's no to me, to
Yeah.
my taste, it's like there's nothing that feels like that's so unnecessarily gross. Like it all feels like appropriately gross.
Yeah, which is about as gross as you can you can get. I'm trying to imagine how you make it too gross.
I mean, dude, I've shouted out so many times. I don't like the movie Antichrist. I think the sexual violence in that is like super way too much
Yeah.
for me.
Well, sexual violence is such a different type of uncomfortable for me.
There's certain kinds of like body horror where they're like really focusing in on like the tedium of like say like the thing that we talked about in like the process shots in
Mhm.
like No Country for Old Men. Like some body horror has shit like that where I'm
Mhm.
like, no, thank you. I don't need all of that.
I
you
think
know?
a big part of it for me is the pain. Are they trying to show pain, or is it just something horrifying, right? So like the gore in this, it doesn't feel painful unless they're the ones getting killed, but
Right, yeah.
it's mostly like an evolving creature that is just like this horrible thing to witness.
Yeah. I think you can almost turn your mind to like this is just like an amazing use of practical effects to like show this crazy metamorphosis, right?
Yeah, is there a lead like practical effects person on this? I feel like we gotta shout them out because this is like the best work ever.
There's definitely got to be someone for sure. Someone in there. Someone in the doing the stuff.
Yeah, the one that at least AI gives the first credit for, created by special effects artist Rob Botton and his team.
So that's in the makeup department.
What?
Special makeup effects creator and
Oh.
designer.
Oh well, I guess that is a lot of what this is, right? Like
Yeah.
just like crazy prosthetics.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. It's insane. I've never seen anything like. I mean, there was some of this in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but this is just taken to like such the nth degree of
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, executed amazingly. I liked it a lot. There's like pretty much no visual effect that does not work for me in this one.
Except the very beginning of the ship over the planet.
I still like how that looks. Like, it's not that I don't like this. Like, I love the way that it tears away to the title and everything too. And maybe it's like an homage to the original one,
Yeah.
which it sounds like it might be. Like I said.
Yeah, with the
So,
title drop. Yeah.
with that, like I'm okay. I'm okay with that. You know, I like paying respect to like your story and where it's coming from and everything. But yeah, and again, I don't dislike the special effects for that. I like that. Just don't like in the
well,
context
I mean, I
of the story.
agreed. I don't. I think they could lose it.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm just saying that all of the special effects works for me,
Yeah.
including that.
Yeah.
The thing that doesn't work for me is the narrative purpose of it.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, I think it's so funny just how chill this research team is. Like the first we get of them, and they're just like playing guitar, playing ping pong, drinking booze, playing chess.
Yeah, there's a lot of good chilling. A lot of good chillage in the beginning of this movie.
We never know what the hell they do here.
Well,
Why-
it is United States National Science Institute Station 04.
right.
Well,
Like we
there's
know
lots
they're
of-
researchers.
There's research facilities in Antarctica.
I know.
feel
I
like
just they don't need to tell us. It's just
Yeah.
interesting that there is no work in the movie.
Right, no,
they're
no.
just hanging out anytime we see them.
I mean, dude, 2 weeks ago, in podcasting time, I kept saying too much business. And in this movie I was like, yeah, cut the fucking business. It's great.
A good point.
It's
That's a good point.
very good execution of like no need to get into the rigmarole. And like right off the rip, like these are like this is like we can tell this is a varied cast of characters. This is like an ensemble
Yeah.
of these like different men from all different
It was
having
reminding me-
different specialties,
Yeah.
different walks of life. It is like this almost more blue collar sort of Poirot
Yeah.
thing, like with all the, or even like Clue. Like it feels like we have these like distinct personalities.
It was
that
really
we can
reminding
pick
me
apart.
of Tremors, actually. Just like the really big cast of characters, and they're all kind of talking over each other and doing their own thing, and then like reuniting, and then it's also like a monster movie underneath that. Like I wonder if Tremors got some inspiration from this.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's a good cast and like a really fun group of people to kind of keep track of as like the movie is going.
It's a lot
and
of
you're
people.
trying to figure it out. It's a lot of people, but to me, watching it for what I am calling ostensibly my first time,
Yeah.
very easy to like kind of be like, all right, I get it. Like I get it. Yeah, keep going. I got
Yeah.
this. Don't explain it to me. Don't give me one of those like crew rundowns like that are fun in like a heist. Don't give that to me. Let me just absorb it.
It's just dropping you
naturally.
in, the script does such a good job bringing each of the characters to life with their own little personality traits. They all feel super real to me.
Yeah,
they're
the
all very
introduction with
natural.
McCready is great.
Yeah.
He's playing chess with the computer, and he's like drinking the whiskey. It's really foreshadowing the sort of like battle of wits, this like
Uh-huh.
intellectual showdown that he's gonna be having
Yeah.
with the creature throughout the movie.
Which is one of our themes.
Absolutely, yeah. And I immediately noticed that. I love how he like, of course, how he solves the problem with the alien. he douses it in something flammable,
Oh,
right?
that's such a good call. I didn't think about that.
Apparently, the his character was supposed to be a Vietnam veteran that has
Mm.
PTSD. That's why he's a light sleeper. That he has a hard time
Oh,
falling asleep. He
yeah.
drinks way too much.
Yeah, no, that's super
That's why he
interesting.
has the
Yeah.
helicopter pilot
Yeah, I
experience.
was gonna say because he strikes me as not a scientist.
No, absolutely not. No,
He,
he's definitely like
the
they get.
groundskeeper kind of, but he also has like
No, he's the well,
wilderness
he's the
experience.
helicopter pilot. Like that is his like role on the team.
Right. But it also felt like he kind of had like more maintenance kind of stuff going on, no? Like
Perhaps,
he
yeah,
he
perhaps
he
as
felt
well.
like kind of a handyman to me, but like he also was the helicopter
Yeah,
pilot.
it's wild they have so many flamethrowers too.
Yeah,
I
well, it makes
love it.
sense with the snow, yeah.
I love all their flamethrowers.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Apparently, Kurt Russell played a trick on like a prank on John Carpenter. He showed up to set and he covered himself in bandages and he's like, "Yeah, I hurt myself playing with the fucking
Oh no
flamethrower."
way. I love that.
Yeah, which wow, dude. Like
Yeah.
live flamethrowers on set. That sounds wild.
Yeah. Yeah. But it looks fucking awesome. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious that the Norwegians are chucking grenades. Just like everything they got at this dog, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you don't know what's going on, it's like this is so ridiculous.
I want to say as well with the chess thing too, like it is also like foreshadowing that like he puts himself into checkmate without realizing it. And there's a little bit of like
Damn,
a
dude.
little bit of
I
that as
never
well
read
throughout the
into
movie.
that. That's so good. You're so right. Yeah,
It's
that
so funny because you're the one who's always saying intellectual chess match, and I was like immediately right there.
yeah,
That's him and his like
I
struggle
just
throughout the movie.
totally. I just thought of it more as an introduction to his personality, which is yeah,
It's
someone
both, yeah, for sure.
which is yeah, it is yeah, someone who would just they lose like they think they got it, they lose the match, and they're like fuck you, and then they win, by just destroying the machine, which is a dick move. It's a dick move, but it's also showing his personality, right, and perhaps kind of showing the undertone of the cabin fever going on, right?
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
he's lost to this thing so many fucking times. Fuck you, chess machine. Like the way he's talking to the computer, just like, oh, you're losing your touch.
Yeah, he
Cheating bitch.
overestimates his ability.
Yep.
Do you know? Have you heard about what the Norwegians are saying at the beginning when they're
Uh,
yelling at them?
no, I think I have looked this up, but I don't remember.
They say, I guess it's like somewhat broken Norwegian, and like Norwegian speakers can't understand it. So it's kind of funny because it's like a little bit of like a spoiler because it's "get the hell out of there. That's not a dog. It's some sort of thing. It's imitating a dog. It isn't real. Get away, you idiots."
Yeah, what a tragic miscommunication. I gotta say, the guy who's looking for the grenade in the snow is an idiot.
That's insane. The way that it falls behind him, that was fucking dumb.
Well, I can understand, given the situation, dropping the grenade, but looking for it after you've dropped it in the snow.
It's just like, but you've got a grenade in your fucking hand. It just seemed a little slapstick, but I liked it. It was not. It didn't feel like out of place. Yeah, but then he jumps and like tries to dig it out so that he can throw it. But I think it also
I think it's just to get
speaks
away from the
to-
helicopter.
Yeah, I think it also speaks to the like utter like desperation
Yeah, no, and
of,
that's
of
why
the
it
situation
works
they've
for
been
me
in.
because
Yeah,
that's one thing that you hear about is that people are actually much worse shots in real life. Like it's kind of a joke how bad people are shooting in shows and in movies and stuff. But in the actual like adrenaline rush of the situation, like it's so much harder to actually like focus and aim and not be shaky or jittery. So I feel like
yeah. The way they missed the dog so much too, I was like, this feels pretty like realistic. Like it would be hard to do that. Like you're on a moving helicopter shooting like through a scope, trying to hit like a dog. You
and
know?
these aren't like trained military professionals, like they're just people with guns or scientists with guns allegedly.
Yeah, I mean maybe some of them were military, but
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I actually did watch the prequel, which covers their story. It was okay. It was fine. I don't remember it
Is
at
that the
all.
newer one?
Yeah,
The one that came out in 2011?
yeah.
Wow.
They didn't use very many practical effects, which was like a huge bummer. Like if you're gonna remake this, come on.
Yeah, for sure. Also, little Quentin Tarantino connection. Unused parts of this score were later used for Hateful Eight.
Oh, interesting.
And he won an Oscar for that. Oh,
So we got a Raz for this.
yeah. He got
Oh,
a Razzie for this,
wow.
and then he got an Oscar for the unused parts from Hateful Eight. It's just like how culture changes over time and shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's so silly, but
I mean, but it just shows that Morricone just so ahead of his time.
yeah, it's a fun little factoid too.
Yeah. Yeah, and so is it George who gets shot here?
It's Bennings who gets shot.
Yeah.
Maybe his first name was
I
George.
think
but
I wrote
just,
George because I think they shout his name out when he goes down.
Yeah, I think for the rest of the movie, when he's around, they call him Bennings, and then we do yeah, I was thinking about how many of them there are. Oh, I didn't end up counting them. I kind of want to, because I was thinking that like there might be 12 of them with the shapeshifter, but I'm not sure. I'll do that when we get to the end. I'll count them.
You were commenting on the other group size earlier, and I think this was very effective in Clue as well, where there's just enough of them where it's hard to keep track of who's where and who isn't there and stuff. So you can use that as a storyteller. Like, they did that a lot in Clue, where it's like, wait, which one of us wasn't here, right? And so every time they're gathered together, you find yourself, wait, where is that guy? Or are they all here? Or, it plays with you.
Okay, I was hoping this would be true. There's 12 of them, and then with the shapeshifter, there's 13. Christ and his 12 disciples. Boom.
What?
This is all about Christ.
That's insane.
And he's converting them, if you really think about it.
Oh my god.
I was just being silly, but that's actually kind of funny.
Dude, that's really wild.
That it's a dozen people?
Yeah. Well, the 13th and the disciples. I mean, yeah, I don't know. There might be some.
Yeah, you know me, dude. I love to crunch the numbies.
Me too. That's good stuff. Yeah, I mean, it, again, reminds me of Tremors, where they had the population on the town, and we're
That
like,
was
oh,
super
yeah,
fun. Yes,
that's the right amount of
yes.
people.
We all shouted them out, and yeah, I do have a note that George as well. Yeah, they'd call him that. Also, like the guy who later on is, oh man, what the fuck is his name? Oh, Gary. Gary
Yeah.
shoots the fucking guy in the fucking eye, dude. That was wild, man. Like, and it it kind of looks like, almost like there's this again, a lot of like unsaid things, but it looks almost like he's like, fuck, like I just meant to stop him. I didn't mean to fucking like put him down like that.
Wait, Gary shoots someone?
Yeah, at the very beginning, he shoots the Norwegian guy.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I was thinking of later on. Yep. Yeah, it's a like for a cast that I don't recognize a lot of them. I think they do a really awesome job in this kind of naturalistic role. Like I buy all of them.
Yeah, they're great. I love this group of guys.
Yeah.
It is a bunch of guys, that's an easy criticism to level there. The only woman in the cast is the voice of the computer. But
Yeah, it's a bummer.
yeah.
That
but
would be fun to mix up in this movie, I think.
it's all ladies now. Like the Ghostbusters. I'm just joking. I'm just being silly.
That'll be our remake.
I love the way they cut to the dude's leg getting stitched up. And
Yeah.
It's kind of like a soft pitch to like, hey, I hope you're not too like what's the word for people who have a hard time with like gore and stuff?
Oh, squeamish.
Squeamish. I hope you're not too squeamish, because there's gonna be a little bit of this. So if you don't like this, you better check out now.
That's warning to the audience. That's so good. There's also this great ominous line at the end of that scene. First goddamn week of winter.
Mm-hmm.
And we love countdowns. Eventually, we actually get a real countdown, but there is this kind of feeling throughout the whole movie that, like, Game of Thrones, winter is coming, and the storm is coming, and we are getting more and more trapped. We are getting into a more and more fucked situation that is unattainable to get out of.
I think this might be the first movie we've watched where somebody has a nose piercing. Did you notice this? It is kind of wild, and I looked it up and even found like a Reddit thread about it.
About this guy's nose piercing in particular?
Yeah, in the movie.
It stood out, yeah.
So you noticed that the doctor has his like nose pierced.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that's so interesting and such an interesting choice. And apparently, I guess it was like the actor's choice. And I was reading what some people said, and they're like, if you think about like his age and stuff, nose piercings started to become popular in the 60s in the US, and maybe he was like a bit of like a countercultural guy
Mm.
in say San Francisco, like and got his nose pierced back in the day, and now he's like a doctor. I loved that like weird touch. Like
I
it's just
love
like
how much you got out of that, because me, I was like, oh yeah, he does have that nose piercing, and then immediately moved on. I love that.
well, as a person with tattoos and with like I have both my nostrils pierced. I like I don't know. I just like
Well, yeah, it's something
striking.
you look for.
It's,
Well, the same way you're left-handed, and you look for
Yes.
left-handed people in movies.
I'm on Southpaw watch. I didn't notice any in this one. There probably was, and I missed it. But yeah, I was like, that's fun. It was a fun little touch. It implies some stuff about his character too.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. Same with the rollerblades.
Yes.
What's that character's name?
His name is Knowles.
I was trying to listen for it. Yeah, Knowles.
Yeah, his name was Knowles. Nauls. Knowles.
Interesting. Yeah, just again fun to see people on rollerblades riding around. It's just like a really good.
It's a fun shot. The really
Exactly,
low
yeah.
shot of the skates. But right before that, we do get Windows saying that like
Yep.
he hasn't been able to reach anyone in 2 weeks.
Yep. Not good.
Which is like, this is already an interesting movie without the shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Like, you're like stuck in like a base in Antarctica and you haven't had word from.
Yeah, not even including the helicopter that just tried to kill the
Yeah,
dog. Like, there's so much going on.
I love a movie where it's like there's the terror before the terror almost. You know?
Yeah. The whole the way the momentum of this movie, the slow press down on the pedal, because I do think the first act is kind of slow, but like it's in a good way. It's like a very slow burn, as the tension just keeps, and then it just like goes off, and then it just keeps going off every like 2 minutes. There's some new problem, some new escalation. It's so well written.
It's like it does the sort of like roller coaster ride shape really well. Like it does that perfectly to me. Where it's just like tick, 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 like as you like slowly climb up, and then when you hit that like fucking high point, and then it just starts going, and there are these parts where it like slows a little bit, but then boom, you're back in it. Like I felt like the pace was awesome for the kind of story it's telling.
Yeah, it's amazing. The tone of it, I feel like, is also just like pitch perfect. The vibe of it just always, every part of it just like feels on point.
I do love that we have a stoner in this movie. We got Palmer. He seems to be smoking doobies.
Yeah,
there's a point he's smoking a
fat
doobie
doobies, too.
with
They're huge.
with Knowles, I think, or
Yeah.
maybe with Child.
I think it was Knowles, or it could have been Child. Yeah, I don't know.
I am. Yeah, look at me. Wow, confusing the two black characters in this movie.
Oof. Big oof.
Big oof. But Palmer's fucking funny, man. Palmer's silly.
yeah, and he's one of the ones we don't really know exactly what happened to him. He just at some point gets gotten. So it's sad to see his like reveal later, but yeah, he's a really fun character.
Oh, it's a great reveal. Yeah, very sad but very fun. We're getting the little bit of the like the exposition that the Norwegians were up there for like 8 weeks. They said that's not long enough to like go crazy, you know.
Yeah.
And someone is like, well, you know, like it's a lot easier to go crazy around here, you know. Really kind of showing that they're already kind of like on a knife's edge. There's a lot of tension already.
Well,
building.
someone got shot, and they killed a guy.
Yeah, for sure. But I almost feel like what he's saying is like a comment on their time before this sort of wild shit has started happening.
Well, yeah, it's such a great slow burn with them specifically, because it is all foreshadowing of exactly what's going to happen to them, right? Which is one of the reasons that a prequel feels kind of superfluous to this story, because the idea of them going and visiting the base feels very much to me like you as the audience and them are like, how could this possibly happened? And that's exactly how their base looks at the end of it.
Yeah, for sure. It is great. It's a fun like sort of like peek into the future. And we do see the helicopter. They find it's got a bunch of kerosene.
Yep, loaded up.
The idea is floated that we're gonna like They're gonna go back to the base. Max seems pissed off. He's like, I don't want to go back to the base. He's like worried about there's a storm coming as well.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit too turbulent to take the helicopter out, but he gets talked into it basically.
But he can do anything in his Yosemite Sam hat, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that fucking hat.
It's a cool hat. That's a good like Halloween costume. It's like a big ass hat and like a snowsuit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but as they're leaving as well, you get this the score gets very sort of foreboding, and it holds on a shot of the dog
Under the pool table. No, I had that line as well, or
Yeah.
that scene as well.
Oh man,
It's that droning bass that keeps coming in and out of the movie is so effective. Just the boom, 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 boom. It's so good. It's so good.
yeah. I like this stuff with the music playing loudly through the bass.
Superstition, right?
It kind of like really shows how empty and lonely it feels, right? I also thought it was interesting. Knowles uses the word "buona" a couple of times, and me being a linguistically inclined young man, I thought I would do a little bit of research. The word "buona" means master, or boss. It is a Swahili word that comes from the Arabic word "abuna," meaning our father.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That is a cool little read.
yeah.
Nice.
I had to know.
Love that.
This is where we get the dog being sketch as
Yeah,
fuck.
dude.
How do they make an animal act so sketch? That was like a good performance from the dog, I must say.
No, it's amazing. I was thinking the same thing. That
the way it sneaks out the door.
yeah, the way it's just kind of looking around, and then the way it locks into the room with someone in it, and then it walks towards it, and all you see is the shadow of the person against the wall, and you don't know who it is.
And their head turns towards
the dog as it comes in, and it fades out. So good, so effective. In terms of it could be anyone. Like,
yeah, no, it's amazing.
Beautiful.
Some of the best imagery all month, honestly. I love that. Such a good encapsulation in one shot of just like, this is the fucking vibe.
It's so good. Excellent. Yeah, so they're at the Norwegian base. It's all burnt up. Mac keeps thinking they're Swedish
Instead of Norwegian, yeah.
Yeah. They find the body with the slit wrists.
I gotta say before this, the cinematography
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
The play of light and dark,
Yeah.
so well done.
The way the camera's moving between the sets too, where you can tell it's an open set because they're moving the camera like between the
through
walls.
walls,
Yeah.
yes. But like the darkness and the way that they, like, we kind of made fun of in Clue, the way they shone the flashlight onto like the body, but
Yeah.
it was like clearly visible. But this is like an actual like very effective, like the flashlight reveals the axe in the door. That was, I
Yeah.
love that. That was such an awesome shot, because then, like you're saying, that happens later on when Childs breaks down the door.
I didn't even
to
make that
confront
connection. You're
fucking,
right. There's
Mac.
so much more than I even noticed. That's so
And I
good.
was totally watching the movie, and I was like, God damn it, Connor like will remember a lot more of this movie better than me. He'll know all the foreshadowing. So maybe I was just ready to be like, I'm gonna bring it with the fucking with the
well, I
foreshadowing.
haven't seen it in a long time. And like you were saying, I do think it's one of those movies that's been on in the background more often than I'm just going to sit down and watch it. Or like, yeah, it's on with friends that when we're hanging out, because it's just such an awesome, like, fun thing to occasionally see this like amazing practical effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the body they find, the slit wrists with the blood frozen into icicles.
I love the blood trail. We love a good blood trail.
Yeah, so such good imagery, haunting. Oh,
Yeah, so it makes you think he slit his wrist and slit his throat.
yeah,
Like a triple slit suicide situation.
yeah,
Which is insane.
yeah.
It's horrifying.
Right. Again, not to shout out Tremors too many times, but the guy who's standing on top of the
Who's, like,
tower,
yeah.
and you don't know why he got up. What was he running from?
And he died of dehydration. Amazing.
Yeah, it just like puts so many questions into your mind. The mental chess match that the movie's playing with you, it's just so interesting.
Yeah. And then we have Doc. Doc is collecting the papers. He seems to think that they're going to be very important. And when Mac goes to check the other rooms, we get this sort of he calls Copper over to show him what is very obviously, to me, my eye, an extraterrestrial holder. It's like a koozie for a beer, but it's like you put like aliens in there, you know?
Yeah, just an ice block with a big carved out section of it, and they find the burnt pile of corpses soon after that.
Yeah, the line there. What is that in there? Is that a man?
Yeah, is that a man in there? Ooh, so and the you get like the camera kind of out of focus, like showing like low to the ground, so you see the pile of corpses, and you can just see some of the like the weird like
Yeah.
foreshadowing of
Yeah,
the stuff
yeah.
you're gonna see later with like the face that's like curled up in a weird angle and like things that just don't make sense geometrically. It's
Yeah,
just
it doesn't make sense anatomically, you know?
yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
insane, dude. I and then when like there's a there after that we see that they've brought the body weird looking body back and I'm like this is insane. This is so you guys brought and then like they do say at one point like this is the discovery of the century, you know? And
Yeah, which is
like I get it. I get it, but still
okay,
holy shit.
at that point they or no, I think that's before they really know what's good. No, that's after the dogs, right? We'll get there, but yeah, there's some stuff in this movie that is the kind of like that frustrates me a bit on the like the horror trope, like especially the way they keep splitting up, dude. Like the like every time it happened, because there's certain points in the movie where I'm like, okay, I could see, you don't quite understand the threat yet, and then by the end of the movie, they're still splitting up, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I was in full tension, suspension of disbelief mode, and actually, I think I will talk about it. I've got a little rundown that I'm gonna do at the end of the episode, but I kind of think it's a part of the genre. You just gotta do it,
You
know.
just gotta
Like
split them up.
you just gotta do it. It's fun.
Yeah.
I like when there's like all reacting to it. Kurt Russell again. I think implying this sort of like, um, and I noted it here, but I only saw the trivia thing afterwards, was he really seems to be taking in everybody else's reaction to it. And he's like he doesn't seem quite as horrified as everyone else. Like speaking to
Mm,
this sort of like trauma that like, a war veteran might have and like he's
mm.
already seen some like horrifying things.
Oh, that's such a good like thing to know about the movie, because next time I watch it, I'll be thinking about that, because I never looked at him in that context, and it makes so much sense. Yeah,
Yeah, it
very
was
scary.
fun to recontextualize it like after watching the movie. Because like there were things I noticed where I was like, yeah, this guy like he feels like he's like military or something
Yeah,
like that. There's like he's got a rich past.
yeah. There's definitely a lot going on with this character, but yeah, like the same way we don't know what they're doing for their jobs, and like we only get so much time with each of them, but the way they're so distinct, and yet we know so little about them. You know nothing about these people. You don't even know if Mac has a wife or kids, or you can assume not, but
Yeah, well, I think a lot like I think there's a heavy implication of like the kind of people who are gonna go and do this kind of work.
right,
Like
yeah,
takes a real like specific person,
totally,
even if it's like a researcher or a scientist or a doctor or whatever. Like
right,
to go out there and do that, real
totally,
specific kind of person.
totally. Uh, the way the dog watches the helicopter land, you just get more and more shots of the dog just like so honed in and focused on what everyone's doing. Like
Yeah,
the tension around the dog is so good.
yeah, the dog is creepy.
Very creepy.
Cute guy, but creepy.
Yeah, in the I also noted the music. I don't remember what was playing when they're doing the autopsy on the corpse they brought back, but
Well, right before the autopsy, there's like this Jaws-esque cello line on
that's
the
probably
shot
what I'm
of the
thinking
dog.
of. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it made me when I thought about Kurt Russell looking at everyone and I'm like, is he already suspecting people? Like cuz trust is a big
Mhm.
theme throughout
Oh yeah.
these kinds of movies, you know? It feeds into the ideas of paranoia and all these things, and it feels like this movie so much is about like showcasing the degradation of trust,
Oh yeah.
which is like it's a pillar of community to
Yeah.
trust one and society to have some level of trust in one another. And so it is sort of like this like allegory for like the like falling apart of civilization
Totally.
or the falling apart of like community, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I forget we were talking about this kind of recently, but I think I mentioned it this month that that's one of the things I really love in zombie movies, right? Is the degradation of society. What happens when we're at our most stressed moment and we don't have the rules to govern us on what is right and like what you can do legally, right? What is legal in this situation?
Yeah, that's super. I love that as well. But I think there's a very special brand of it, uh, like of that sort of idea in these like it could be anyone kind of movies,
Yeah.
because it is like at least the zombies are an other, right? Like, so because with these movies suddenly everyone else is the other, and there's the isolation of like I'm the only one,
Well,
right?
that's the slow burn with the zombie movie though, is that at first the zombie or the zombie story in general, the zombie is the threat, but once you learn how to deal with the zombie, it's the other humans that have survived that are the threat, and it's like
Right, for sure. As we've seen in lots of movies. It's a like fun way to be like, oh yeah, like these things are like fucking horrifying, but you know who's also horrifying? Human beings are still horrifying, like it
yeah,
it, it is great.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, I love the yeah, I love the suspicion. The
Yeah.
suspicion is great. It's fun,
The
and I feel like it's in his face even this early. Like
yeah.
even when he doesn't quite know what's going on. I put a note. I was like, is he already thinking like, is one of you a shapeshifter? Obviously not, but there's something just in that.
Yeah, they're just
God, Kurt Russell's
all
great in this
he
movie, dude.
is. We haven't talked about Kurt Russell really. Yeah, he's fucking awesome in this.
He is like, I'm so used to seeing him being like very like funny, and like he is kind of like gruff and like funny in that like sort of like um contrarian way, but he does such a good job of like with the whole doubt and the like paranoia that we've been talking about, and the suspicion, like it reads so clear on his face.
Yeah. Yeah, and just like yeah, the slow I think the slow emergence of insanity throughout the whole cast is so intense and interesting to watch as all of these people we've kind of gotten to know just a little bit but enough to like get their sense of their personality as that personality gets like sharpened into the like most you know survivalistic form.
Yeah, yeah, and as you were saying, we do get this autopsy, um and it
Seems to be normal, he
normal
says.
set of internal organs.
Yeah.
And this is Wilfred Brimley, who plays Blair.
Yeah.
And this is another one of my favorite performances in this.
Yeah.
This guy's great. This is an
Yeah.
awesome. People know Wilfred Brimley from the diabetes commercials, but I wasn't super familiar with his work
I didn't know
as
he was
like
the
an
guy from
actor.
that. That's amazing.
But I wasn't super familiar with his work as like an actor in this sort of like regard, and I was like, I loved it. I like him a lot in this movie.
He had one part that kind of stood out to me later where he has the gun and he's shooting at everyone. It might have been a little broad for me, but like we'll I don't know. We'll re-examine once we get there. But yes, overall awesome performance. Uh Oh yeah, this is one of those like so after the scene, so he says like seems to be normal. Like I was saying, this is when we get one of those great palette cleanser shots. It's like a great sunset shot of the base, and it's like, well, that was fucked up. Let's take a deep breath for a
Yeah,
second, and now it's also it's transitioning into night. I wonder if it's about to get even more intense, right?
yeah, and then we get more people chilling, and this movie does. I think you and I can agree on this. This movie does like the perfect amount of chilling for this kind of movie.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it's the amount of chilling where you're like, oh man, they're rich enough characters that I wish I got a little bit more,
yeah,
but I don't need anymore.
yeah. Totally, totally. Yeah, it feels very because you are already so tense like the like I feel like the movie has you right where it wants you at this point and so you're almost just kind of savoring like the last bits of peace while you're like all right just get it over with what's gonna happen
Yeah, exactly.
um oh yeah I think I was thinking about this symbolically a little bit they're playing poker and the dog goes underneath the table and it like makes them jump and I was just
Yeah,
thinking
it startles Bennings. Yeah,
the fact that they're playing poker like
gotta keep your poker face.
yeah, they're all
Everyone's bluffing.
yeah, and then you got the dog coming underneath as this kind of representation of the horror that's brewing.
Yeah, 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 totally.
Uh, and then yeah, they have Clark put the dog away, and I was already just like bracing myself for this section because it's it's so awful but so amazing.
Yeah, I love the way the dogs are all so nervous about the other dog, and it's just staring at the fucking wall.
Yeah. Oh, and but right before that too, there's when well, he's bringing the dog up. I really noticed the wind howling outside. The storm is starting to come in, right? And it's like it's such a long shot of him just like slowly
Another sort
walking
of
down with the
metaphor for
wind.
the impending doom.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
batten down the hatches. The storm is coming within and without.
yeah, and man, the transformation of the dog. This is
I was stoked. So, like, the thing that they find at the base, I was like, this is so dope that we get this soon, right?
yeah.
Like, I love how quickly we're getting into this and we're already getting moving. Like, we're having the chilling, but they've already found that body. And during this sort of second chillage scene, we have the, like, fucking super disturbing, like, a little bit of a glimpse into, like, how does this thing work, right?
Yeah.
Which I will say, compared to, like, Body Snatchers, I think rides the line of, like, don't tell me everything, but tell me enough for me to be, like, satisfied. Like,
Mm.
I felt really, really satisfied with, like, I understand somewhat how it works, but, like, it's not
That's just such a
a
good point.
full on, like, overly wrought explanation,
Right.
right?
'Cause
Very simple.
I brought that up in Invasion of the Body Snatchers that I like thought I understood everything, but it was kind of like, is that how it works? Like, it wasn't really explained. It was just kind of shown to you and not really emphasized too much. But I don't know. Yeah, this one is just very clear. Like,
Also felt inconsistent, like,
yeah,
in Body Snatchers. Like,
yeah,
there's some weird, and, like, I get that we're also telling a story, so sometimes these things are gonna be inconsistent. But with, and I think there is a thing. There are a couple, like, goofs, I'm sure, with, like, the consistency in this, but just from, like, a sitting and watching felt very, like, yeah, just felt very, like, easy to process and still be like, ooh, it's interesting.
yeah. Man, this scene really fucks me up, man. The way it starts like spinning acid on that one dog trying to get out, like it's just so horrible. Yeah, my comment I wrote "holy fuck" and then in parentheses just keeps escalating, and it's you see it start. All the dogs react to it. You see it all the like it's. I think the first thing that happens is its face like peels back and something comes out of its head.
Its face peels back and it looks like the skull it was imitating almost like falls off or whatever.
Oh
Like
my
like
god.
this like dog like smaller dog shaped sort of skullish thing falls out and then like the tongue start coming out.
Yeah, and
My note was like my note that is, oh my god, that thing is fucking disgusting.
yeah, I think it gets some bug legs right after that. Then
Yeah.
the tentacles start coming out, and then it starts spitting acid, and then we cut away. I think, and that's when they,
You see Max grabbing a beer
yeah,
and he hears the dogs and then he pulls the like alarm.
yeah, which again, just like yeah, thinking on his feet, immediately notices something off. That's why he kind of strikes me as like a security personnel or something, but maybe that's just who he is.
It's a former military thing,
Yeah,
snapping right into action.
yeah, and so they all get there, and the way the light is out in there, and they can't see, and they just hesitantly open the door, and then the dogs jump out trying to get
Yeah.
away, and then it's just like the slow reveal of like, oh my god, I mean, how do you even describe this monstrosity? It's absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, it's wild. I love it. It's like it is such a good sort of like way of portraying the incomprehensible. It is that sort of like it does feel like a sort of Lovecraftian creature in that way where it is this evil that is like so amorphous and unknowable.
Yeah, and part of its body stretches its arms up and pulls itself into the attic, I guess. And that is such a good little detail that I was clocking a lot more this time, where you kind of forget about it, but it's in the background the whole time, and it is a big plot point. And they think they get it because they set it on fire, and I don't think they can just quite accept what they were seeing when it split up like that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's so fucking freaky too. Like they do like they like torch it and everything, and it has all the freaky eyes
I
in
love how
random parts.
he's too petrified to
Yeah,
burn it at
yeah,
first,
yeah. It's
and
so good.
it's such a good shot. And Mac is telling him to burn it, and he's seeing he won't, and then he just backs away because he's like, "Well, if you're not gonna burn it, I'm getting out of
Yeah,
the way." Uh, and then yeah, he finally shoots it right when it starts coming at him. Great scene.
yeah.
I mean, maybe the best monster reveal ever in
It's
movies.
super freaky
It's
looking.
so effective.
It's hella freaky.
It's the tension is such a good slow burn. Amazing. And right after this is when I really noticed, like started tracking it was the palette cleanser of Now It's Day, and it's just a shot of the base, and it's like, oh, like I felt the weight come off my shoulders in that scene because it was just such an intense moment.
But then immediately he's like going to do like
The
an autopsy
autopsy,
on this one,
yeah, and
and
it's
it's
even
so
more.
alien and disturbing, and you see him like hesitate
Yeah,
before he cuts into it again.
yeah,
Great hesitation, a lot of like good like non-verbal acting in this, like
yeah,
a lot of that good sort of like looks, like nods of the head, shit like that
totally.
I thought was really good in this, especially something that's supposed to be, this there's this solitude, isolation, paranoia, like quietness to the movie. So I thought that worked really well.
Totally. And I was thinking about a bit if there was a 3 act structure to this after the fact, and I do think if I was gonna nail it down, that whole scene we just passed was like the climax of Act 1, and now we're in Act 2, which is now we're in it, right? Now we're in the shit. Uh,
Yeah, and very quickly we get them talking like this is an organism that imitates other life forms perfectly.
yes. And from here on out, these guys have no excuse to be splitting up as often as they are.
Yeah, this is where the suspicion is really like, wow, it could be one of us,
Yeah.
and like it could be any one of us.
Well, yeah, because I think we get the scene soon after of Blair asking
He's
Clark.
suspicious of Clark.
Well, he's asking. I think he just tells him that the dog was walking around the camp all day, and he's like, "And how long were you with the dog?" And he's like, "I don't know, like an hour maybe." And he's like, "Okay." That's where you really get the first.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
and you can see it in his face, right?
yeah,
And you also, I love the way they do Clark's reaction to it, where he's like taken aback and he is distrustful back in a way where he's like, "Why are you like suspicious of me?" Like,
yeah. Poor Clark. I feel like an interesting choice they make with Clark is that they do show us throughout the movie that he is not one of them. He's like one of the few characters. He might be like the only character that they really, because we get the scene later where he finds the dead dogs after Blair goes crazy. And you see his reaction to that, and it's like, well, then he's clearly still a human. Um, and so, but
and they do the test with the blood too with him,
well,
right?
yeah, so they confirm it like absolutely. But so it's interesting that the narrative is having the characters all being suspicious of him, but the movie wants to show you, oh no, it's not him.
Yeah, it is this cool thing. It both of them ride on his love of the dogs, right?
Yeah,
Like they're suspicious of him because he loves the dog, so he spent a lot of time with the thing that was a dog. But also, like, we see ultimately his humanity and his reaction to what happens to those dogs later.
yeah, yeah. That's a good point. Um, they look at the Norwegian tapes.
They find that the Norwegians found something under the ice.
Yeah, yep. Uh, and yeah, they basically just watch it and then
Then they go to the
go.
dig site.
Yeah.
The dig site, the first shot of it, I was like, is this like a painted
Yeah,
backdrop?
yeah, definitely a matte painting. Yeah, which I'm a big fan of. I mean, you can always tell, but it's such a charming,
No, it looked cool.
pretty. Yeah,
What's wild is that they walk on it later. Like,
yeah, for sure. Um,
that was really cool. I like there was some really cool light play again in this, and like the like sort of revealing more of the ship. I liked it as well. It is like there's a little bit of an uncanny aspect to it, like just a tad, just a touche.
yeah. No, it's just I've always appreciated the way they look, even if it's not like the most believable thing. And the same with video games. Like pre-rendered backgrounds and stuff have always had a charm for me. Uh, yeah, they confirm I forget how they confirmed this soon after that it's 130,000 years old. Is that just based on
I
how
think
deep
they
it
said
was in the ice?
100,000 years.
Oh, okay. I got 130. I don't know, but yeah, maybe it was 100.
Let's stop and watch it real quick.
Okay. Yeah, I could
All
go for
right, we
another watch.
confirmed it was 100,000 years.
You asshole. Um,
That's not very nice.
I
They do find the rectangle too. I like this.
oh yeah,
It's like
the carved
this is
out.
where they carved out. They did a very precise little like rectangle job too. You know.
Yeah, that's a good point. That would be really hard to carve a perfect piece out of the ice like that, probably.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's easier to just do straight lines, like using whatever tools they were using. Who knows? I've never been in Antarctica.
Yeah, depends what they got, I guess.
There's no podcast in Antarctica. Does somebody in Antarctica have a podcast? Do you think?
That's a great question. Maybe we should start this up in Antarctica, and
Yeah,
that'll
we
be our
should.
whole thing.
Yeah, let's go to Antarctica and yeah, we'll see.
We'll rebrand.
We'll see who we have to compete with. I do like fucking what's this motherfucker's name? I forgot his name.
Giles?
No, the guy Parker? No, that's not his name.
Oh shit. Yeah, what is it? I think it might be Parker. What is it?
Anyway,
Palmer.
Palmer is talking about, yeah, of course it's aliens, man. They taught Incas everything they know.
Well-
they own like almost all of South America.
Yeah, but the line before that really got me with Giles. I cannot believe any of this voodoo bullshit. Do you believe this voodoo bullshit?
It's pretty good. Keith David is great.
He's
He's
really
an
good.
amazing actor. He's really good and such like a voice.
What a voice. Yeah, no, I recognized him from Halo, and I'd forgotten that connection was there. Yeah, I think Palmer calls it Chariot of the Gods.
Yeah, he says Chariot of the Gods.
Good shit, man.
Yeah, and then we get Knowles bringing in these like these long johns that belong to someone, and they like have these like they're like weirdly torn up.
Yeah.
And later on, it comes up
Yeah.
that when the things shapeshift, they like kind of like tear these like little holes in like the clothes. So this is like a clue that someone has been turned that they don't know.
Yeah. And again, at this point, how the fuck are you guys still separated? Like, get everyone in the same room, man. Just get everyone in the same room. But then you don't have a movie, so it's like, is fun the enemy of the nitpick in this situation?
I think fun is the enemy of the nitpick. I think this is an essential element to these movies. You gotta split up.
You gotta.
You gotta split up, and that's what is so genius about Clue. Is they're like, we should split up, and like, but if one of us is gonna be alone with the murderer, and then he like dismisses it. There's a war, Peacock. It's good. It's like they're making fun of it.
Totally.
But again, I like it. I like this in these movies. I've come to peace with it. I asked myself that earlier today, and I was like, no, I like people splitting up. I think it's good. It's fun. There's a lot of fade to blacks at the end of scenes in this movie.
There are. This is.
I think it kind of working with the establishing shots, like the outside shots, the exterior sort of shots to do this sort of like, all right, like some time is passing, and also like just take a second, just like an extra beat to like relax, because shit's gonna get hairy.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point, because I was talking about the palette cleanser with the like, the shots of the base at different time points. I feel like that's a good point that the fade to blacks also kind of act like a mini little palette cleanser as well.
Feels kind of like a curtain.
Yeah. So I think here is when we get
The
Blair.
simulation.
Yeah, looking at the recreation of the cells multiplying.
Yeah, and I love how it tells him there's a 75% chance somebody has already been infected.
Yeah, a little goofy, like the whole way the computer works with the prompts here. It's just like, what is the math here? What are the numbers you're plugging in for any of this to make sense?
27,000 hours after first contact, the entire world population will be infected. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a little,
well, like,
it's
for
a
what
little
it's doing,
cheesy,
narratively,
but yeah,
yes, no, it's amazing.
good
Also,
clock, ratcheting up all that tension. It's awesome.
yeah, and like a really nice touch too is when they're first showing the cells like duplicating or like basically taking over the other cells. You have him just holding the pocket watch out of frame. So you just hear the time's ticking, man. This is what's happening to the entire base right now.
Also love that at the end of the scene, he grabs the gun. He's like,
Yep.
I don't trust these motherfuckers anymore, dude. One of them could be one of these fucking things, and it's coming for me.
Yep. Yep. And I did look it up. 27,000 hours is about 3.5 years. So about 3.5 years after exposure, the entire world would be infected. Is the computer's calculation. Yeah, I think they talk about we get Mac. Like basically, people want Mac to do more shit, and this is a nice element I like of this story as well. Is the emphasis on how tired everyone is, and like Mac is already done, right? He wants to. It's been a long day. Mac just wants to go to his shack and get drunk. He says, and I don't remember exactly why he gets pulled away.
Yeah, I mean, like so we see he's like looking at the tattered clothes while he's drinking the whiskey, and Blair calls him over because he wants him to move the organism's body to the storeroom.
Right.
And that's where he does say like, I just want to like be up in my tower and drink. And
Gotcha.
once he's done, then Fuchs wants to speak to him privately outside.
Yeah.
And that is where we get the line, you can't burn the find of the century. And what I love is that the foreground is out of focus here,
Mm-hmm.
but the background is in focus, where we see the two characters, Windows and Bennings, interacting. And then we see there's this movement under the blanket, and
Yeah.
then you realize, like, fuck.
Yeah. Well,
It's
you
like so
see
live. Yeah,
something
then you see it
dripping.
dripping out. Yeah.
Yeah. Horrifying.
Sick as fuck. And then we get Fuchs telling Mac, I'm worried about Blair. Like he's locked himself away. He's like not answering me. So he read his
Oh.
notebook, and that's where he sees that he says there's still cellular activity in these burned bodies. They're not dead.
Yes. No.
I
This
love that.
this this chat in the helicopter. I think it's like this point on that the movie just does not let its foot off the pedal. Yeah, they're in the helicopter. They're not dead yet. Mac was ready to go to sleep. And then there's this amazing shot where it shows from outside the helicopter, and there's no sound of them talking, and it just like a drone fills up, and you just see through the helicopter window them like Mac like the realization of the gravity of the situation.
Yeah.
So good, so effective. And then what
Then we
pulls
see
them back in? Yeah,
Windows walks in on Bennings,
yeah,
and he's like in the grasp of the creature.
yeah.
And so Windows runs to go get Mac and Fuchs. And then the thing that's imitating Bennings runs outside. They chase him. He screeches, and Mac takes him out with the flare
Well,
and the fire.
the reveal of his hand too.
Yeah, that's so freaky.
The
It's
way
very
the
sick.
framing. This is one of my favorite like cinematography wise, or I guess cinematographically is that the word? Like the way it's framed with them all standing around his body, and like it's this high up shot of in the contrast of the ice against what like they will soon be setting on fire. Like it's just this really gorgeous shot, really effective. Um, yeah, horrifying. And then yeah, they burn all the bodies after this.
Yeah, and I think we get some cool more of this sort of subtle acting where Mac is really like Mac knows that they got to burn the things. Gary seems a little bit out of his element. Like he's very shaken.
Yeah.
He's like obviously like the leader on the base, right? Like he is like the commanding officer or whatever you call it. But like,
So what's interesting about that is I didn't really realize that until later when he tries to give up his authority. I didn't really clock that he was like the one calling all the shots.
yeah, I kind of saw it. There's something in the way that I think the camera kind of like tells you things where I'm like, oh, this is the guy who's supposed to be telling them what they're supposed to. They're all looking to him,
Right.
and he's not really like reacting.
Interesting, yeah. They want to know where Blair is.
Right, while they're burning the bodies.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of them trying to find him. We get Windows on the radio again as well, sort of reinforcing this thing that they are completely cut off from the outside world. And we have this moment where Mac thinks that he sees Blair running back inside.
The shot of him just running out of the helicopter in the darkness with an axe, like again, just this slow.
Yeah.
That's what it
The
like.
silhouettes, like there's a lot of really good silhouettes.
I think
in
from this
this.
point on, it's literally just like every couple minutes, it's like, oh fuck, what is happening now?
Yeah, I love like he goes and like he's fucked up the like helicopter, and then there's the gunshot that takes him inside. Oh my
Yep.
god, I almost shot my gun.
No, put it
no.
away, Alfred.
Just joking. I dropped my water. Almost dropped my water bottle, but then I caught it. I was just flipping through a little bit of trivia, a little bit of triv here. Um, and I see that Rob Bottin, the person who we're talking about, who
Practical effects.
yes, this movie considered benchmark in special effects makeup. And he was 22 when he started on
What?
this
Are
project.
you
Isn't that awesome?
kidding me?
That's fucking sick.
What?
That's very cool.
That's so cool. I gotta figure out what else this guy was doing over the years, cause hot damn.
Yeah, we could look it up. We could look it up. We could chat.
Yeah. Um. And so here we get Blair is wrecking all
He's freaking
the
out.
communications, and
He's
I love this.
destroying everything.
I love because this is such a good character conflict because his reasons are so like good. Like he's
Yeah.
trying to save humanity here,
Absolutely.
and that means like killing everyone here we like.
Yeah, he's trying to make sure that this doesn't spread. Like, this works for me so well.
It's so good, yeah.
It is like a Good Samaritan murder, like Good Samaritan turned serial killer situation a little bit.
Oh yeah, I think it's the line. This is the only line that from him that stood out to me. There's a part he's telling them to stay out of the room, and he does this big "I'll kill you," telling them not to come in, and it's just like super over the top.
I kind of love it. I love it.
It's fun, but it stood out to me, and like in a movie where the performances felt very natural.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was definitely a big moment. There's so much, like, it's so quiet and like brooding and throughout so much of it. I can see why it would stand out to some people. I liked it.
I like besides that like
Yeah.
one like moment
His
or so.
freak out is really well done.
No, the rest
yeah.
of it is awesome. Him
Yeah.
smashing the comms, like I was totally all in on the rest of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a good point. Super well executed, I thought.
Yeah. Really sad that so they also confirmed. So the helicopter's been fucked. The tractor's fucked.
And he killed the rest of the
and they
dogs.
killed the rest of the dogs.
Immediately you see
man.
Clark. He's gonna go check on his dogs, dude.
Yeah, really breaks my heart.
Hey, Clark's like me. He's checking on his dogs, you know? You need a brewski, bro? I got you.
Yeah, I do love their little plan to run in with the table in front of them. Great to just see, I just like people thinking in movies. It's too much people just running in and being so cool and fast and dodgy that they can get around it. But
Yeah, they've got a plan, like, so that they don't
Yeah.
get hurt. I also, I did make a note of this because he says, you don't want to hurt anybody. And then he goes, I'll kill you. And I wrote, great shit. And I think I like it a lot because it is this sort of like, oh, that's like a clear sort of comedy moment,
yeah,
where it
that's
is
fair. And there are some comedy moments. In
yeah,
this, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And I think maybe I was
Like you just processed it in the right way.
yeah, where I was like, oh yeah, no, that's great.
It
That's
hit you
fucking
right
funny.
for sure. Oh yeah, this another moment that stood out to me. You get the most blatant punch sound effects when Mac is beating up on him. Did you notice that? Just like two big psh, psh.
No, I didn't notice. That's funny though. That's a good shout.
Yeah, and then Clark finds the dogs there. That it's just such a like good emotional beat. And just like really, again, I think the purpose of it is showing that no, the Clark is still a person, right?
Yeah,
they
for
really
sure.
want to emphasize that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking at the trivia right here, and those weren't real dogs.
Oh, good. I thought they were all murdered
Thank
horribly. Yeah.
God, John Carpenter would have been fucking canceled for that one.
Yeah, that raises it a whole score. Actually, that's great.
S+ tier? Spoiler?
Blair gets locked in the tool shed.
Yes. And I love the line here. Trust is a tough thing to come by these days.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And he says, watch Clark and watch him close.
Yep.
It's good.
It's
There's some good stuff. I love, just sort of really fomenting the idea of promoting the idea of like, shit, dude, like you can't trust anybody,
Yep, totally. I mean, and the storm keeps getting
It could
heavier.
be anyone.
It could be anyone. And
Ikba.
and having seen it several times, I was like, okay, I know Blair turns. What point? Like when does it happen? So like that's kind of like some of the pieces that on rewatches you start putting together more. I feel like, okay, wait, who's where, when did they turn? I know Palmer turned at some point. Was he the one that the dog walked into the room and that was the shadow turning to see him? Like, I don't know. Was it before that? He seemed to maintain his personality for so long.
And again, this is why this is the ultimate spoiler alert, Ikba fucking movie. It's doing the whodunit thing of like you're like trying to like
Yeah.
work backwards to figure out when people turn like very like it's smart. It's like I don't even think it knows it's what it's doing. It's just like the natural. It's like when a story has such a good premise that it just what follows is like boom, there it is.
Right.
Like it doesn't even
Well,
need to know what it's doing because like it just logically follows this path of like
yeah.
boom.
Yeah, it feels like it wasn't even trying to do all of this clever foreshadowing. It's just writing it out in a way where it's showing you, or it's just like if you were trying to write this out in the way the events would break down if you were in this situation, and through that, all of this mystery and intrigue is just so natural there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's really good. Uh, yeah, I think right now they talk about holding up until spring.
Yeah, waiting for rescue.
Yeah, and Max like hell no.
And then the
Like
question starts to come up, how can we tell who's an imitation?
yes.
And there's the idea of a blood serum test.
Yes.
I think that that Doc floats maybe,
Yes.
you're right?
Yeah. Well, I think they get their blood, right?
Well, because they have all of their blood in like a storage. So I think they're going to go check to go see the blood and we do get the line I think or Max says something to like tells them to watch Clark, you know, cuz
Yeah.
you see it's that mountain suspicion.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, it's such a interesting smart choice that that's the one we know through the filmmaking is not. Like you can assume Mac isn't, right? Cuz he feels like such a like
There's a chunk of the movie
Yeah.
where I'm thinking he is.
yeah, they fuck with you for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. And I was like, no, I'm smart. I'm smart. I saw the clues. I can figure it out.
Yeah, and so they go to check on the blood and it's just all like ripped to shreds.
This is a great scene where everyone's
Yeah.
interacting, and you see that the trust is evaporating. Was
The
it
descent
Gary?
into
Was
chaos.
it Doc? Who had the access? Right. It's so
Yeah,
good.
one of them
And
had the
this is-
key, one of them had access to the room. Just
Who done it? Like this is like
and it's such a natural way that this would I can perfectly picture this exact like it exactly playing out this way where if you even if it's a bunch of people you like if you are at this point where any one of them could be a fucking monster you would be like well who had the key.
yeah, and I think there's like a very sort of human response from Gary to be like, well, y'all don't trust me, so I'm gonna like, as a show of trust to y'all, I'm gonna give up my leadership, right? Like, I like, now that I've been called into question, like, somebody else take over, right? And I love the whole like the little bit with Norris, like, oh, let's choose Norris, right?
Right.
And, but he doesn't want to. Then Childs volunteers himself, but Mac is like, you're not even tempered enough. And Mac just takes charge.
Yeah, well so I think it's Gary who stops Childs. Like someone like cuz Childs goes for the gun cuz the gun is basically the symbol of who's in charge.
Yeah.
Gary puts down the gun like I'm done. And that's funny. Yeah, you read it as him doing a kind of like, well, nobody trusts me. I took it more as I was just pointing a gun at someone. I can't emotionally handle this right now. I shouldn't be the one in charge here.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it is like yes. Yeah, no, I had forgotten about that. It's totally for sure that. I think it's also like a show of like, hey, like almost like a offering of like let's like try to have some trust. Like we can't function as a group if we lose all trust. It's this thing I'm saying about like community, right? Like it's almost this show of like even though it's in a very low moment of like let's try and work together a little bit.
Totally. And another trope I love in zombie stories of when the like designated leader crumbles, who is the natural leader in the situation. So his kind of like crumbling under that moment
Yeah.
is the perfect like way to bring up Mac's
And
character.
it's been set up. Like
Yeah.
it's been
He's
set up.
kind of already was.
Yeah, it already feels like he's already kind of telling people where to go, what to do, and even in the scene right before this, that's what's happening. So it's well executed, you know, nice little thing, and we're not taking up too much time with it. We're still telling other elements of the story as well, you know.
Yeah. And then I think here is where we get Max saying there's a storm coming in 6 hours. We're going to find out who is who.
Yeah, yeah, and he does he like burns the blood, and he says, you know, look, I love how he says, I know I'm human. Because that's such a great thing to have someone say in
Oh
one of
wait,
these
wait.
movies.
I think
Like,
before this whole sequence, we have him making like the recording
no, that's too this after this.
after the whole testing everyone's blood.
No, he burns the blood. The I think the like remains of the blood that was like stolen. He like
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just spacing out.
no, that's okay. Don't worry about it. He's just like burning. They just cut back to an outside shot, and they're burning more shit. Um, and that's where they decide that like it's like, look, I'm human, and then he tells them
Oh yes.
to
Okay.
like tie Clark, Gary, and Doc up and shoot them up with morphine in the and like leave them in the rec room.
That's wild. They shoot him up with morphine.
No, that's insane. That's a wild choice.
And then we get him
Yeah, he's recording his tape,
which is so good.
and he has the shredded long johns that he's holding.
Yeah, it rips through your clothes. I just wrote some of the lines. It could be anybody's. Nobody trusts anybody now. We're very tired. And then he like goes back and I think re-records over that line.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's almost like he doesn't want to be seen that way or something. Like
I thought he re-recorded over the part
of nobody trusts each other.
nobody trusts anybody. Yes.
Yeah.
That was what I thought of in that moment. I was like, ooh,
That's so
that's
good.
a cool choice.
And
And then we get his name, R.J. McCready.
yeah, yeah, good stuff. And then I forget this guy's name too.
Fuchs.
Yeah, Fuchs. He's kind of like looking into the autopsy, or he's looking into the blood, right? And he's trying to see if there's anything that you can see in it. And he says that everybody needs to prepare their own meals now and eat out of cans, or that's what he suggests.
Yeah, because a small amount is enough to turn anyone.
Which is an insane detail, and I think I kind of like forgot about it because I was really putting that together with some of the other stuff we see coming.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because later on when they do the blood test, they all use the same knife to cut themselves, even though it's like supposed to be highly infective.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Oh, that was on. I got to shout out the IMDb goof section.
Yeah.
That's where that was.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely pretty dumb, but we'll let it slip.
And you could so easily just be like, everybody use their own knife, right?
Sure.
And that would be even like a fun little extra line, right?
Right.
Also, I just want to say when they do cut themselves, I know this is getting ahead of it, but they cut themselves on their thumb. Why would you cut from there? That like I work as a bartender.
Yeah, you're gonna be grabbing everything.
Don't cut the pads of your fingers for something like that. That's dumb. It's gonna
where
hurt.
would you cut? Like maybe your forearm or something?
Maybe my leg, my thigh. I guess it's cold outside. Yeah, I mean probably on my forearm somewhere.
Okay. Well, that's a tip for any of you in that situation.
Yeah, just a little pro tip. Connor and I were in this situation once where one of our friend was a murderous shapeshifter. We don't talk to them anymore.
Yeah, it was kind of a done deal with our friendship after that. And they know what they did.
Juan.
I was thinking one too.
Cut it out, double it.
So here we get some I think it's Knowles, right, who finds McCready's clothes out in the snow.
Yeah, there's there's the power going out.
Yes.
And there's this awesome shot of the horror lighting shot from underneath of Fuchs, right?
Yes.
And he sees somebody walks by. I love again the silhouettes and the people walking by. It's well done. Like some movies kind of do it it's a little silly, but this one I feel like it's just right for me.
Yeah.
And then you get Fuchs running outside with the flare. There's this really awesome like blue and red play, with the contrast between the snow and the flare. And Fuchs finds McCready's clothes with the holes in it outside the snow.
Oh, okay.
But then they go looking for him because he doesn't come back.
Right. Yeah, this is the first time I noted splitting the party, shaking my head.
And again, we see more of this. Yeah, I know. But it's fun to do the stuff where like Palmer's like, I don't trust Windows. Like I don't want to go with Windows, right? Like,
Yeah, in no world would I go with anyone in this situation, nor would I want anyone to go with anyone. Right? Like the logic falls apart a bit for me on that stuff, but like you said, it is it
It's
adds
fun.
it's so
It's
well
fun.
done. It's so
Yeah.
fun. Like I give it a pass, but it does bug me.
Yeah, and I think it is like this idea of they're like, well, we're not really sure how quickly it works, right? Um,
Yeah.
I think the point for me where it really is like, I would say when Norris like fucking, that was the point where I was like, now I wouldn't split up,
Right.
because like it really like was like
Yeah.
in that amount of time that we were away from each other that it happened.
Yeah. And like I said, it was varying degrees of splitting the party again. I see to splitting the party again. You're splitting the party again.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie.
It is a little silly. They really like having these like departures and like re-meeting and then
Yeah.
like the suspicion like mounting.
Yeah.
I think the way that they build the tension and the way that it's like buttressed by the score and the like cinematography and the technical elements,
Yeah.
it like gets a pass from me for
Yeah.
that, you know?
Yeah. It gets a pass, but I do notice it. Yeah, the way that sometimes the way they split up is so natural and good, where it's like, well, someone has to watch the base, but we also need to see why the light is turned on over there, right? So like
Yeah.
sometimes splitting the party works really well, but it's the moments where they're talking it out and like, well, let's all split up. When it happens naturally based on the actions and the events pulling them in
Yeah,
different
or
directions.
like someone sees something and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go check this out real quick," like
Yeah.
those are pretty like feel a little tropey sometimes with it.
Yeah.
They can still work,
Yeah, and I think part of what makes me scrutinize it so much is just how natural and like well thought out so many of the actions taken are. Like I think I'm
Yeah.
smart enough to keep everyone in the same room. I'm probably not smart enough to think about how well, yeah, if one single cell is going to react, that means that the blood will react itself. Like that's a very smart move on McCready's
Yeah,
part.
no, that was cool for sure. I also want to say that when they go and talk to Blair, at this point he's like, "I want to go back inside."
And
like,
he has a
you know,
noose.
the noose, yes, I was gonna say that exactly. So foreboding,
Yeah,
just like
it ain't
that noose in like
Fuchs.
the foreground,
It ain't Fuchs, he keeps saying. I wonder if he's already turned at this point, and that's one of those things that you couldn't. There's not really the pieces you could put together to know whether or not it is, other than him saying it's not Fuchs, and it seems like it really isn't Fuchs.
Yeah.
But like the way you could see the almost like the mind turning of one of these creatures being like, well, if I put up a noose here, they seem to humans seem to be concerned about when people like threaten their own lives or.
Yeah, I also part of me was like, did he set that up, or did they put a noose in there? Like it isn't there when they initially put him in there, but I was like, do we just not see them? Like, be like, all right, when you want to kill yourself, you can just hang yourself here. But I do think the read is that he's like out there and maybe thinking about killing himself, and then maybe changes his mind. And is that because he's been turned, or just because it's a very sort of like natural, like, no, actually, I don't want to die, sort
Yeah.
of thing, right?
You gotta let me come back inside, he keeps saying.
Yeah, and then that's when they find Fuchs's burned body,
Yeah.
and there's this sort of thing of then they further split where they send Windows back to tell them that they found Fuchs's body, and this is the part with the lights on. That's really cool,
Yeah,
right? Where
yeah.
where they go and check on the shack.
Yeah, and then they just kind of drop out of the movie. It's such an interesting
Well,
choice.
And then it cuts to Childs being like they're like
We gotta
looking out.
barricade this
Well, he's
place.
like, how long have they been out there?
Yeah.
And he goes like 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah, what a like interesting cut of
I
time.
like it.
I think it's
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah,
it's
because it's like, okay, what's happening? And then you're just kind of on in Child's mind now of like, okay, well, he's obviously the second leader, right? If Mac wasn't around, Child
Yeah.
seems to be the one who steps into that role, and he's like, well, let's barricade this place.
Yeah, and I do love that the person who goes with him, I love that before it's just the two of them going off to the tower. We do have the setup of like we've seen McCready's torn clothes outside. So you're like, "Oh, is it Mac? Is he going to like turn like is he going to turn Knowles, like, what's going to go on, right?"
Yeah. Would you have let Blair back inside?
It's so hard to say what you would actually do in a situation like
Yeah.
that when you're sitting here in a
Comfortable.
chin stroking position?
Totally.
I
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm gonna say no. Like, given all the like facts that have been presented, yeah, I'm gonna say no.
Hell yeah. I again just tie him up, have everyone sit in one room. All right, let's figure this out. Like we're not going anywhere until I know exactly who's who.
Yeah, yeah.
um yeah, what's his name? He starts getting stomach pains here. Norris?
Well, we see so like, Knowles finally comes back
Right.
and tells them that he cut Mac loose on the tow line
Right.
because he found his clothes in the furnace
Yes.
in the like tower.
Yes.
And then Mac gets back. He busts in, like, they hear the supply room window. And I love how, like, the sounds draw them to different places throughout the movie. And so they find him in the supply room. And he's like, I'm going to blow up the whole
This
camp if
part is
anybody
so
messes
good.
with me.
So tense.
And then, yeah, you do see, like, that Norris is like, there seems to be something wrong with
No,
him.
it's even before that. It's when he's looking out the window, and it's before.
Yeah, he makes, like, a weird face. But here he, like,
Yeah,
has,
yeah.
like, some full-on sort of issue. And then we cut to Doc is giving him CPR. And you see Mac's level of paranoia is like really like mounting at this point, you know?
Yeah, I love when he's like, yeah, he's threatening him with the flare, and he's like, back off, way off. And just like the presence of that scene, the moment, it's so tense, it's so good. Yeah,
And I just want to say that he's giving him CPR,
Yes.
and then the fucking mouth
Yes.
chest opens and eats his fucking
on
like
the clear,
arms,
clear, bam.
and super well done. Looked awesome. Looked really fucking good. Super well executed.
Yeah, and this whole sequence of them setting the corpse on fire and then the head dripping off the table
Yeah, the head pulling itself along using
with its
the fucking tongue, and then it turns into a head spider.
Yeah, with little like lobster eyes coming out.
It was pretty fucking sick.
It's awesome. It's so cool. Also just like like just a little bit like silly in the right way. Like it's just so
Yeah.
ridiculous.
They like, yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree.
In the way, like, yeah, just kind of like you know, walks out into the hall, and then they all, yeah, it's a comedic shot too. Again, them turning around like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. Then we get more of like what I kind of is interesting. We had Mac taking the leadership role sort of naturally,
Yeah.
and now he's kind of like doing more of like forcing everyone to do
Yeah.
what he says. And I really love how that shows how like it's really like the community, the society, the trust, it's out the fucking window.
Yeah, well, they left him out to die. So now
Yeah.
it's him versus them.
But
And
I
the way
do
he
love-
turns the situation around is amazing.
Now he's got a test, like trust
Yeah.
is being reintroduced to the film.
He ties
which I
them
think
all up.
I think is
Yeah.
really fun.
This
Like,
is one of the best sequences, I think.
yeah, no, I think this is sick. I think this is so good for a movie where like you're so in like who do I trust mode. It's kind of cool to have a moment and be like, hey, let's like reset, let's recalibrate. These are the people who aren't fucking things, you know?
Yeah.
Also in the fucking subtitles, whenever they would say that thing or like, you know, like it would be capitalized.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I loved it.
I love that. That's great.
And this is the thing that you mentioned with Mac thinking like if one like part is gonna protect itself, then like
yeah.
the blood will try to protect itself.
Yeah. Oh, and Clark, this was also set up a little bit earlier. He has the scalpel,
Yes.
and he's waiting to get Mac,
yeah.
and he sadly goes for it, and
And Mac kills him.
Mac kills him.
And he doesn't turn into any weird thing. And that's where it's fully confirmed, you know. Clark, still a dude.
Yeah, the drawing, the blood, and yeah, seeing his. I love that just him taking it one at a time and seeing them not jump and like, oh, that's really sad that they're dead then.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Mac having to face that. Well, I killed an innocent man, basically. And you know, Childs throws that in his face. Oh, I like that Windows when he gets tested.
He's so sketch.
He doesn't know. I think that's the read I get from it, is that he's not sure if he's one of them.
Yeah, it's so strange. But I love it.
Yeah, well, like, he's like, I don't know how any of this works. What if I am infected?
Yeah.
Right? And so the relief on his face, I thought,
It's weird. It's
yeah,
weird, but it's cool. It's like
yeah,
the implications are super fun.
yeah. Uh,
We get Windows, Mac, Doc, and Clark's blood is all fine.
yep.
But Palmer is a thing.
Oh my gosh, man. The
Love
this
that. Yeah,
sequence
it
is
is good.
so freaking good. It's iconic. It's amazing.
They're all tied together too.
The
The fucking flamethrowers malfunctioning. You know,
Yes.
it's there's a lot of this is the kind of business I want. You know, these sorts of like little like complications and the blocking and the oh man, that was super fun. Like when I was like, oh shit, that's right, they're tied together. Fuck, like that's so freaky.
Yeah. Horrifying. Fuchs gets eaten. Or not Fuchs.
No, Windows.
Windows, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Palmer gets Windows.
They this whole scene of him setting it on fire and it breaking through
The
the wall.
sounds it makes as it's burning.
Yeah.
So good. Really reminded me of those like cool like body snatcher.
Yeah, I was thinking of that
noises,
too.
you know?
Yeah. He blows it up with dynamite, which is pretty awesome, or thermite, or whatever they're using. And this
Tremors.
yeah,
Dynamite.
yeah. Hey, it's all connected. It's all there. Um, this is a really good comedic beat too, and kind of shows everyone mind state is the way you see them kind of one at a time. Like it started with Windows, who's like he's like everyone's suspecting him, and then you see him like or how against they all are of being tied up and getting their blood tested, and how like they're like fuck you, this is so messed up, you can't do this, and then as soon as they get tested positive, they're on the other side like holding the flamethrower now. Or,
Yeah,
like,
it's fun.
it's
fun.
one at a time.
But what I kind of like is that it also gets there's this progression beyond that is like and yeah, I love the passage of time, the way those shots are.
Yeah, it's
we get
really
like
good.
almost like kind of jump cuts, like
Yeah.
where you see the person has disappeared, but the other person's still there, and they're like now they're the one like you said pointing the gun. But I love how Childs is like, let's do it, you know? Like I love how he is like kind of like he's kind of like I mean I know what I am. Let's just get it over with.
Yeah.
Like now we can build some trust again. He's almost like accepting, like
Yep.
I mean everyone had to go through it, you know, and so we get that Knowles and Childs both not things either, you know.
Totally.
Gary's blood ultimately is okay.
Yeah, his line of not wanting to be tied to the couch anymore is pretty funny. I forget what he says
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, it's a good line. Very good. Well, if you gentlemen don't mind, you know, he's so fucking
Yeah.
he's good. It's good. It's his like one of his best like
Moments.
sort of like yeah.
It's his hero moment.
It's his like funniest
Yeah,
moment
yeah.
for sure. Because he's got a lot of like he does a lot of really good like face acting
Yeah.
and like his worry like where he seems to care about this group of people, like they're under his charge, and you
Yep.
see like the weight of that
Totally.
like in his performance, I think.
Totally. They go to check on Blair, and so I would say that was probably the end of Act 2. That felt like a big climax, everything that went down there, and it
Yeah.
feels like now we're kind of ramping up for the
Yeah,
final
now
section.
they want to give Blair the test.
Yeah.
They see that the door is open, but it was bolted from the outside. And I love that they're just like walking through and then like the sound and they hear the hollow floorboards. And then suddenly, what the fuck? Blair was building a spaceship.
Yeah, this part is always been like really I don't know, like, but maybe.
Like how
Fucking
long have
maybe,
been
dude.
how long have been they
Well,
been
not
out
long,
there?
like a day. Right?
Right, but like it's never like exact, you know? Like
I feel like we pretty much are like, yeah, you're right. I mean, there is
he's
passages
also like
of
an
time.
alien, you know, and he has like who knows how like he maybe
Right.
he's
Well,
able
that's
to
the
like
thing is you
can he
don't.
stretch out and like have a million hands and like
Well, we don't know what the dog one was doing this whole time too, and how involved that one was
Yeah.
in this. That's the big thing I didn't really think about until this watch. Was like, oh right, that's what lets Blair out is the one that got away originally, and then we see it later, like going through the floorboards and everything, so he can move through the ground.
you think that's the head spider?
No, not the head spider. The one that escaped into the attic from the dog room, because they burned most of it, but part of it just went into the attic and disappeared.
That's right.
And I was
But
saying
they don't get the head spider.
No, they do. They burn it.
They do. Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a shot of it like spinning around on fire.
Right, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because then we see the dog one at the end, right? Where it's like that's the final one he throws the dynamite
Right,
at.
for sure. I mean, it's hard to know what is what because they can just like they can imitate any life form
But they
perfectly.
they had to take it in. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean. They had to take it in.
They had to absorb the cells in order to replicate it.
That's true. That's true. That's right.
Um, yeah, he went underground, which is also like, yeah, not understanding the whole thing that happened with the dog part that got away. I never quite understood. Like, wait, so he just dug his way out of here, but it's like the thing with the dog one is that the reason it's so big is that it absorbed all those
Right,
dogs,
right, right.
and it's been getting other people on the like the ones that have been turning that we haven't seen or like that just went missing or
Right.
whatever, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. I also like kind of like took part of it as like there are so many moments because of the way that it works that it can just be like a cell can do it. I'm like,
That's
how many
true.
of these things are like, like running around? Can they like if they break off, can they reform together? Like,
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, it's left very mysterious. And I think the spaceship thing, even though it is like very like hard to comprehend and believe that this could be made with just like household appliances while he was trapped here in such a short amount of time, it does lean into that we have no idea what these creatures are
yeah.
capable of.
It's also fun because it contextualizes why he took the parts earlier.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I kind of like that a little bit of
Yeah,
like,
that
oh man,
stuff's good.
oh okay, so he didn't just destroy it so he couldn't get away. It's also so like he could build something. But I would say overall, other than what you're saying, which I think is a great sort of point, like we're not really aware of what they can do. I think we have enough of that in the movie that don't necessarily need him building like a
No.
spaceship,
No.
But it's fun.
It is fun. That's the
It's
thing.
fun.
I don't know. I
It's
don't know. It
fun.
works.
It's like a classic, like fucking UFO too.
Well, it's just like the pacing I was
This movie
talking
came out
about.
the same year as E.T. I think.
Is that right?
Yeah, isn't
Wow.
that funny?
That's crazy. Yeah, well, like I was saying with the pacing, man, it's just like after a certain point, after that chat in the helicopter, it's literally every couple minutes something crazy is happening. So it's like,
Yeah.
here's another crazy fucking thing.
After the spaceship, we get a really awesome like camera movement
Oh,
through the empty base. Very cool. I like that one a lot.
yeah. And then the power goes out here.
And Null sees Childs outside.
running,
Yeah.
and you're just like, yeah, all that stuff, because you're like, what the fuck's going
And
on
we get
over
the
there?
like what he says about like it can just freeze because it'll hibernate. Basically, is what
Yeah.
he's saying. Like it
It
doesn't.
kills the generator so that we'll all die and it'll survive, basically.
Yeah, it doesn't need anything else from them. He
Yeah.
like kind of says.
Yeah, because he says in 6 hours it'll be 100 below in here, which is
Yeah, wild.
really fucking cold. Yeah, and I like that they
Wild.
contextualize that because it's hard to imagine.
Yeah, very cold.
Um,
And then we get him blowing up the spaceship.
yes, and this is a moment that it reminded me of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where I said like my favorite theme in there was kind of the human spirit overcoming, and even if it's all hopeless, like you're gonna go out swinging. I felt that a lot here, where Mac tells him, "We're not getting out of here alive, but neither is that thing." No argument. They're all just like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, we're not gonna survive this,
It
but we're
works
not gonna."
so much better for me in this movie than in Invasion of the Body
Oh
Snatchers.
sure, yeah,
I was so like, yes, like, well, I'm so fucking. I love this. I love that, like, you are, because that's what life is about. Like,
Yeah.
ultimately, we're going to die. So there are people who sit there and they say, well, what does it matter if I'm gonna die? Like, what does anything I do even matter? And that's the thing. It does matter. Like the way that you fucking like, exert yourself in those situations, or that you wriggle before you perish. Like that shit, like, is important and it's
Totally.
meaningful and it's like inspiring. I feel like, yeah, I know. I think it's really,
Totally.
it's so fun in this movie too. Like all of those explosions are like, fuck yeah, dude. Like fucking burn the motherfucker, dude.
Yeah, it's very cathartic to see them get some. Well, they moved from survivors to heroes here. Like,
Yeah.
they are now heroes that are just trying to save the
Start
world.
lighting everything on fire too.
Yeah, it's
The
so
fire
good.
in this, like the pyrotechnics, is
Blowing up every room in
looks
the
fucking
research
sick.
base. Yeah. I mean, it all looks like they built this practical research base. I haven't looked into the whole set design, and then they just fucking blew it up.
When this is all like filmed in like an inside like in like a on like a
Yeah.
set too.
Yeah, like a lot.
in Los Angeles, and it was like 100 degrees outside.
Oh, really? I love that. That's so great.
Yeah. I do love that when he says that they're like, we're not going to make it, but neither is it. I read some doubt in his voice, like when he says that. Like I kind of
Mm.
like felt like he's still having trouble accepting it in a way, you
Yeah.
know, like because
It's
there's
like
an
him against
uncertainty.
the chess machine at the
Yeah,
beginning, yeah.
yeah, exactly. I think around here is like, and when he says that is in the generator room, and they
Yeah.
see that it's completely gone. There's no way to fix it, and like you're saying, yeah, the temperatures are gonna completely drop. Then they all start splitting to plant their dynamite. You
Yep,
know.
I wrote it again. They split it again. Damn it. LOL is what I
Yeah,
wrote.
this one is a very silly one. Them
Yeah.
splitting at this point, I'm like, ah,
Well, the one point I will give it is they've already decided they're going to die.
yeah,
So now we're just getting the job
yeah,
done.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Fair enough.
Uh oh, the scene where Blair finds Gary though here. Holy fuck.
You mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so. He's so unsettling.
Oh my god.
Real body snatcher fucking energy.
Yeah, his hand just like pressing into his face. The
Oh,
visual
it was so
effects
sad. The
there.
way he like fucking drags him by his
Ugh.
face. That was so fucking sick.
It really was.
Like I said, I like the body horror a lot in
It's
this.
really,
Like,
really
it's
good.
not always something I'm super into, but in this one, woo!
It's just so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have, yeah, Null's just like wanders
He
off.
notices a noise.
Yeah,
like,
and
the
he
noise.
just quietly wanders
But
off.
he like smiles as he walks away.
Does he? Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't notice.
Maybe it was just me reading a smile.
I saw more like trepidation from what I remembered, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I
Um,
made a note of it specifically because I was like, that's so strange. I wrote, what the fuck?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's him accepting. I don't know. Maybe it's him losing his mind. Yeah, and then Mac calls out, "How's it coming in there?" And silence, and just like great silent, the last silent moment before
There is like
climax.
a creepy sound.
Yeah.
There's one creepy sound.
Yeah. And then yeah, it comes through the ground, like the floorboard. And again, like I always struggle to understand this. I understand it better now. I still don't know how it can have so much organic matter to move like this based on I don't know how many dogs it got, I guess, but
I think also like I guess I was also thinking you could like replicate and do like weird amorphous shit as well. Like I thought maybe. Also, we
Well, I
don't
think-
know. We don't know what
yeah.
it's absorbed before either, right?
That's
like
true. Oh, because this is the original one as well. I forgot about that. Yeah. Because it's the one that took the dogs.
yeah, and
That's
again,
crazy. I
again,
never,
like
I never
how do
realized
these
that.
organisms work? Are they one by ones? Are they like
Yeah.
splittable hives?
I
You
mean,
know?
it seems like they established it was a cell, but how that works to what extent, yeah. And that's the horror of it all, right? It is kind of like Invasion of the Body.
It's
Snatchers.
unknowable.
It's unknowable and hopeless feeling.
Yeah, and it's wild. I like the shot of it taking the detonator underneath with it.
Yeah.
That was kind of silly, but like the kind of silly where like, oh no, ratcheting up that fucking tension.
Yeah, and you kind of just get its like glamour shot of the full horror of it stretching out, all the different dog parts
it's
coming
so
out, the
fucked
different
up.
human bits it's absorbed.
So gross.
It's so gross, so good. I love. Yeah, I don't know why I never connected that. That's the original one too. So it really makes it like the final boss of this whole situation.
Yeah, I really had this sort of like colony of cells that like could be like partitioned and re-put together, sort of like read on its like physiology, I guess.
Yeah, I think what really got me thinking about it was just the one that pulls itself up.
Yeah, no,
that
for
just
sure, yeah.
vanishes out of the movie, and then the final shot of it where it's like three dogs
Because that's
growing
something.
out of it.
Yeah, that's something that like I was keeping track of. I remember like seeing that one get away, and like at different points being like, oh, where are there moments where like even a part of this thing could get away, right?
Right. Yeah, and then you get the great. Yeah, fuck you too.
It's good. It's good. It's a fucking classic right there.
And just great explosions. It looks awesome. The
Yeah.
whole place just goes up in flames. Great climax.
Yeah, it's also I love like leading up to it. He like drops it, scoops it back up, and then
Yeah.
yeah, fuck you too.
Yeah, and then he climbs out into some wreckage, and he's kind of just spent, done.
The whole base looks like the dare I say, worse than the Norwegian base at
Yeah.
this point, you know?
Yeah, we've reached that whole full
That's
circle.
because America has more firepower. When we
Hell yeah, brother.
when we blow it up big.
Yeah, the child's approaching from behind again, like, you know, if you haven't seen it before, you're like, oh god, is it like what next?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh
And he
and
asks
he
him, he
says,
says, "Where were you?"
yeah, he saw Blair and went after him. And this is something I again just kind of forgot about.
And he got lost in the storm.
Blair still out there. That's the thread, right? I think that's what they're saying. All the other things is like you were saying, it could be like what's breaking off and stuff, but all the other things are accounted for. Blair disappeared in the snow.
Yeah.
So he's frozen out there.
Yeah.
And I kind of take it, you know, it does a little winky nudge nudge, but it feels to me that this is Childs and Mac at the end, just the way it's set up, but maybe
I
not.
love that it's a Schrodinger's
Yeah.
box, you know?
Yeah.
Like there are a couple Schrodinger's cats, you know?
Yep.
Because it's also even like at this point, I think. I mean, you could be like, well, I know it's Mac isn't a thing, but it's like, I mean, I don't know.
Well, and it could have
It
infected
could-
him. We
it-
don't know. Again,
Can I
like
say-
it could, if it's just one cell that got him, you know. Or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I mean, should we say it together? It could
be
anyone.
anyone.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, we opened with it, but the whole why don't we just wait here for a little while, see what happens? What a cool way to end a movie, dude. I love it.
Then cut to fucking credits. Job well fucking done.
It's and they drink and Mac laughs too.
Yeah, there's this levity to it that has been missing since like the beginning
I
of
think
the
it's
movie.
him just accepting it and like what a fucking crazy ride, basically.
And I love that they've been kind of butting heads, and it's
Yeah,
and it's the two of them now.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like that as well.
totally. Because yeah, like I said, he was kind of clearly the other front runner for leader. So it's
Yeah.
like the two that kind of understand each other the most. Just being like, yeah, we're fucked.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do tier? Well, let's do tier rankings.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta go S tier. It's I was hesitating a little bit. I mean, just because, you know, a lot of my S tiers have a more like emotional undercore to them. But like this one is just like so good, and I'll be watching it the rest of my life, and like it's so unmatched in practical effects. You know, 40 years later, still somehow, just like a perfect like I said, the vibe, the tone, the way it's executed is all just like right on the mark, basically.
Yeah, I think that it knows what it is, and the technical execution is all super on point. The story doing this awesome sort of like it could be anyone whodunit like body horror shapeshifter thing is really awesome as well. Like the cast of characters, and there's a lot of implied sort of emotion, a lot left unsaid, that's not explored, that doesn't need to be explored. And I feel like you know, I'm a big sucker for those like big emotional sort of like centers in movies, you know, like familial relationships, or like the struggle to find yourself. Those sort of things are so beautiful. But this is S tier to me because of like it chooses its lane, and that's not what it's doing. It's much more a commentary about like communities and group settings and the degradation of trust.
Yeah.
And it's like such a beautiful sort of like story centered around that.
Yeah.
Like it's simple. It chooses what it wants to do, and it like goes out there and fucking executes and fucking
Yeah.
swings
While
for the
being
fucking
such
fences.
a thrilling, like, you know,
And
adrenaline
being
rush.
funny too, you know.
Yeah.
Like I love that. That's always bonus points for me. Like, you know, like a little humor never hurt. Like humor's a part of like fucking life. But yeah,
Yeah.
S tier for sure.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel like the tone, just that's the thing that really stands out to me. Is just being the truest pitch perfect thing in the movie, where it's just like, there's not really like anything about it where I'm like, that didn't quite fit. You know, like we talked about like small nitpicks here, but it wasn't really tone stuff ever. You know.
Yeah. John Carpenter's The Tone.
And I
So-
think that's also the first S tier we've given in a while together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
It's
I would
been
say
months
so.
maybe.
I think it's been a little while, and I think it makes sense, and It works. For the end of this month, I've compiled a little thing. I asked myself, what makes a good "it could be anyone" movie, taking into account that we have sort of put together the whodunit and the horror
Yeah.
sort of like shapeshifter thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I just want to discuss a couple things really quickly. Some of the themes I wrote down that the big one for me that I love, and this is really like, this is less like a rubric and more like, what do I want to see? What do I love? So it's like a personal sort of, if that makes sense. Like, what calls to me? Like, not what are the necessary elements, but like, what are the things that when I go into this, my sort of expectations. So trust is the main theme, and that feeds into paranoia. Like, it is trust versus paranoia is constantly at play here. And feeding into that again, we have the whole suspicion thing, which leads to this isolation
Yeah.
that we experience, like with that we see the characters experience, even though they're in these sort of like group settings.
Mm-hmm.
There is the sort of intellectual standoff, the duel of wit, the chess match, you
Yeah.
know, the strategizing that we see as well. Sort of detective work, trying to snuff out the guilty party, be it shapeshifter
Yeah.
or murderer.
A lot of deductive reasoning.
Deduct and inductive
Yeah.
as well, you know, and big commentaries on individuality in stuff like Body Snatchers. Although with like these casts and how they're all sort of very like with the ensemble cast ones with like Clue, Murder on the Orient Express, and The Thing, you do sort of see that like personality, it kind of feeds into this, but definitely felt like the individuality thing, like what makes us who we are and what makes us human, was very like strongly hit in Body Snatchers.
Mm.
And then I had this one, expectation of others. And this is one of the things I really love feeding in with trust. It's about socializing and interaction. What are the social norms? What is polite? What is expected of you? What is appropriate behavior? Is there trust or a lack thereof? Those are the sort of themes. I would also have a little bit of cinematography stuff. I want interesting dialogue shots. I think we saw that in Poirot. Like and in this movie, a lot of cool shots underscoring the doubt.
Yeah.
And then one thing you hit on Murder on the Orient Express is the recontextualization shots
Mm-hmm.
that happen in like a lot of whodunits. And I love those too. We get some of those in Clue as well. I love when it's a different angle, maybe even a different take.
Yeah.
You called it out a lot in some of the other movies. Dutch tilt, Dutch angle,
Yeah.
oblique angles, like off-axis camera work to like
That's a
really
good
help
point. Yeah, a lot of Dutch angles. Yeah.
unsettle you, yeah, and ratchet up the tension. And I do want like one of those shots showing like all of the people, right? Like on the train with Murder on the Orient Express,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of
Mhm.
wide shots and Clue of the whole group.
That's a good point.
And then
too.
you can figure out like who's missing right now.
Yeah.
Like that happened to me in the beginning of the movie. I was like, is there someone who's still in the base?
Yeah.
Even though you're not quite like suspicious of them yet.
Totally.
And then some of the things that I just love in general is I want those ensemble casts with the distinct personalities. I love it when they're stuck somewhere together, like a bottle episode with The
Yeah.
Thing,
Mhm.
with Clue,
Yeah.
with Murder on the Orient
Me
Express.
too.
I love some downtime hangs.
Yeah.
They're good, you know? Not too much, though.
Yeah, there was a bit too much in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I remember us calling
Too
it
much,
out, yeah.
yes, too much. And this is where I wrote it down. Split them up. Maybe someone is with the murderer or the shapeshifter. And then again, some more of this dialogue that underscores the degradation of trust. I said I like humor. I like when people are in these situations and you see sort of the contrast of someone trying to make light of it, while like there's also lines where people say stuff to underscore the gravity of it, like with the thing about it just wants to hibernate, like it doesn't care if it freezes us out. And then I was just writing some stuff about scores. You want that 10 score.
Yeah.
I said it a lot in this, like it needs to work perfectly with like the shape of the plot. And I think this one does it, like
Oh, yeah.
ratchets it up,
Yeah, like
takes
a
it up a notch.
like a glove.
And clues. We want clues. We want some red herrings. We don't
Mhm.
want too many red herrings. Don't waste my time too much. Waste it a little bit. That's okay.
Well, Clue can do it because it's funny.
Yes, exactly. And then let me think that I'm smart enough to figure out who the shapeshifter or the murderer is.
Yeah.
And then specific things with horror. We love the body horror. We love not knowing if someone has been turned. We love cool tests, like in The Thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like the ambiguousness of a lot of these movies is added a
Yes.
lot. Yeah.
Yes, the unknown. And then who done it? I do love the high society characters in period pieces. And I love the part at the end where they go through everyone and their motivations, their access
Yeah.
to the victim. That's always fun in a whodunit.
Yeah.
Specifically. Okay, now the things I hate, and we can after that we can move on.
The things you hate. Okay,
The
interesting.
things I hate in It Could Be Anyone movies.
Listening.
Dr. Kibner. I also hate too much business.
Too much business.
And
Yeah.
then these ones don't really happen so much in these ones, but making it too easy to tell who has been turned or is the murderer.
Yeah.
Easily forgettable characters or characters who are too similar.
Yeah, that's real quick. I wanted to touch on that because I do think that's a good point. That I think all 4 of these movies do a really good job of really not having any idea who it is at any time. There's really like not many clues.
Yeah.
Like there's a ton of clues, but there's so many that you don't.
Yeah,
know.
yeah, absolutely. And some of them are more subtle
Yeah.
and other stuff. And then the last one was convoluted motivations and maneuvers, which there's a little bit of that in Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh yeah.
And it is in Clue. And what I said is, unless you're drawing attention to this to make fun of it, which is what Clue does, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go. There's my little treatsy
Love it.
on It Could Be Anyone.
Love it.
Now that I've said that, do you want to rank your It Could Be Anyone's?
Yeah. So which movies in order are the most? It Could Be Anyone. And I'll start with number 4. This is tough. I've been thinking about it, and I'm kind of back and forth on it a lot. Especially now that I'm on spot, I kind of want to go with Invasion of the Body Snatchers, as much as I hate to say it, because I do think that movie's super cool. And it's not really we're not really talking about quality, just like what is the most It Could Be Anyone. But I think like all those points you're going over with the ensemble cast and the mix of like you said with the thing where it's both, right? It's like it could be any person, but it's also a whodunit together. I think that really shines on the category of It Could Be Anyone. And yeah, I think that maybe
I'll say I will put that one forth as well. We
Okay.
talked about this when we recorded our last episode because I was like, I'm just gonna like jump the gun and talk about it right now. But yeah, Invasion of the Body Snatchers for me, like there is the It Could Be Anyone, but like the anyones that they are like don't feel as impactful as in the other movies. Like there
Yeah.
definitely is that element, but
I mean, I think the ending of that movie is one of the most impactful of
Yeah,
those
yeah,
moments
very,
in
very
any
strong.
of the movies. But yeah,
I would say
whole,
the ending
yeah.
to the thing beats it out a little bit. But
I mean,
definitely for
yeah.
the endings, those two are like very strong. Yeah.
Yeah. Number 3, I think I'm going to go with Murder on the Orient Express.
We are in line. I agree.
And honestly, it is a tough. It's very close between Clue and Murder on the Orient Express. But you actually said something when we talked about this, where you're like the different endings really like turns it up in like a dial in a way where it really could be anyone because there's so many endings and you can kind of just pick which one.
Yeah, whereas in Murder on the Orient Express, it is like
It tells you what
it-
happened.
It could be anyone. It is everyone,
Yeah.
right? Like which is fun as well. Like I like that, but in the context of the category, as we like to say,
Yeah.
definitely think it goes third in this month.
And then yeah, Clue number 2 and The Thing.
Clue number 2, Thing number 1.
That's
Yeah.
same for you. Yeah. I mean, The Thing.
I
is
even
just,
told you that was where I was gonna land.
That's funny, yeah, because I was still trying to sort it out in my head, and I hadn't even come to conclusion until like talking it out right now.
Conclusion.
Yeah, and yeah, The Thing. I mean, we already said it all. Why it's the most. It could be anyone, but yeah, I think the combination of whodunit and
It so focuses in on that aspect of
yeah,
loss of trust, which is at the center, like I said,
yeah.
of what is so compelling about It Could Be Anyone.
what loss of trust does to a group of people.
We depend on each other,
Yeah.
like community. I
As
keep
soon
saying
as we
community.
fall apart, yeah. No, it's amazing, amazing movie, amazing month, really fun month.
Yeah,
It's-
for sure. I
It's
just
such a
want,
weird like combination of categories, but it worked out.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, as a person who works in a restaurant, a person who interacts with a lot of undocumented people, like I feel like community is like so important to talk about now. Like I think these like things of like this loss of trust, like turning on your neighbor type stories are very fun, but there is a very like beautiful underlying message to me that is like this is so disturbing because like we want to trust each other. We want to like lean on one another. We want to be part of community. That's
Yeah.
why these stories are disturbing. To
Yeah.
think that your friend could have murdered your other friend, or
Yeah.
that your friend is actually not really your friend, but like an alien.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm very excited for
What are
the
you excited
legally
for?
distinct movie roulette.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna friggin' roll this thing right now.
We got
Um,
only 4 movies left. Or 4 categories,
we
rather.
got 4 cats left.
16 movies left.
16 movies,
Not
4
including
cats.
our super secret October and December categories.
October and December, secret little things.
Oh, let's spin it. Oh, it's spinning.
Oh, I'm spinning it.
It's spinning.
Here we go.
It's spinning.
I'm thinking, oh my god, is it aliens?
Oh,
Is it movies?
it is
and murder?
aliens.
Oh, it's aliens.
Dude, I was actually hoping aliens would be in the summer when we first picked this up, because what do I think of when I'm looking at the starry night sky? When do I think about aliens the most? When I'm camping out in the woods in a nice summer night and I'm looking up into the starry sky, seeing if there's any extraterrestrials going on.
That's so true. And especially you and I, we've gone camping a couple times. We've gone to the whole, fucking go see some meteor showers.
Oh yeah.
Definitely makes you think like what could be out there. We're just, do you remember what movie we were doing first for this?
So we this is the only category that we decided to do chronologically because we thought that would be interesting. And I'm spacing on the movie from the 1950s.
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
The Day the Earth Stood Still?
The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah. I've seen that movie once when I was a lad, and I barely remember it. So this will be really interesting to revisit. But I love aliens. I love alien stories, and for a similar reason, it's funny because we just had 2 alien movies in this category. But yeah, the unknown, man, it's captivating to me. The possibilities.
Yeah, it's super fun. I'm excited. I've never seen this one, so we'll see what I think.
Hell yeah, brother.
No new 5-star reviews. No comments of note. So yeah, that's the end. We'll see you next week. What's so funny?
Just nobody's watching, nobody's really listening,
Yeah.
but see you later.
No. Nobody's rating. Nobody's reviewing. Nobody's rating. Nobody's reviewing. I mean, there's. I've got it pulled up. I got the. Whoa. Okay. Metrics are through the roof.
Oh, actually, whoa.
Yeah.
Wow, those are a lot of big numbers.
Anyway, get those 5-star reviews in. I will read your review. You will be famous for a week. We will be eternally grateful. And like and subscribe, leave comments, share with your friends, your mom, your dad. Yeah, we say fuck, but like your mom and dad, they can take it. It's fine. I mean, they fucking had to deal with you growing up, so
Shit.
I'm just joking. Love you guys. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, with that,
Another episode of Cinema Forecast. Like I said, we're Cinema Forecast. Find us, Cinema, FOURCAST, on social media so you can like and subscribe and leave a 5-star review.
And we'll see you in the forecast.